It's night 2 of the Breeders' Crown at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and we have coverage of it today on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. It was all about the 2-year-olds yesterday, and today it's the big stars in the spotlight. We're happy to have you with us. I'm your host, Acacia Clement, pleased to be joined by Anthony Stabile. We saw some really good performances with the harness racing action yesterday, Anthony, and looking forward to seeing the likes of Atlanta, Bulldog, Hanover, and a lot of other talented horses today.
Yes, looking forward to it. Ammo, of course, took the pace for the 2-year-olds last night, $106. I don't know if we have a $106 horse coming your way tonight, but I know this. We start the night with one of the great race mares of all time in Atlanta. She's going to try to trot to her first victory at the Breeders' Crown, and we're going to end the night with the Hanovers. Bulldog, Allywag, going to have the rematch from the Red Mile, and we're going to see if potential horse of the year, Bulldog Hanover, can get revenge on Allywag Hanover for that loss at the Red Mile. I'm a big Bulldog Hanover fan. We'll be biting the nails at about 10:45, and I can't wait to see the Bulldog in action later on tonight.
Anthony's fired up tonight. I
am.
can see it. I love it. I know somebody else who's excited. Jessica Otten with us once again. Jessica, looking forward to all that's coming up tonight for that Breeders' Crown action.
I am so excited. We have a ton of harness racing action for you tonight. Like you guys had mentioned right here in the opener, Atlanta. We'll get to her in a minute. Of course, By the Missile and Pebble Beach will meet up once again in that 3-year-old colt pace Glamour Boy Breeders' Crown final. Pebble Beach is undefeated on Canadian soil. By the Missile's coming into this race awfully sharp. You guys had mentioned the matchup between Bulldog and Allywag Hanover again. Jiggy Jog and Joviality will meet up once again. Jiggy Jog came ahead of Joviality down at the Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky. And of course, the Hambletonian Oaks winner, Fashion Schooner, will square off with them as well. With a 3-year-old colt trot, King of the North, who put up a big upset last week, finally notching his first win of the season. He'll take on the Hambo champ, Cool Papa Bell, who was an upset there on Hambletonian Day, and plenty of more action. Last year's horse of the year, Test of Faith, comes back. We've got the hometown horse here, so much more, and the other elimination winner, Grace Hill, as well. So we have so much on tap for everybody tonight in harness racing action. But right here in the second race kicks off the Breeders' Crown final action for those older mare trotters. And of course, you guys had mentioned Atlanta. She's just a tremendous trotter, over $3.3 million under her belt. She's got plenty of trophies on that mantle, but the one trophy she lacks is the Breeders' Crown. She does not have a Breeders' Crown trophy on that mantle, and she's coming into the race sharp. She's coming off of a nice win down in Lexington, Kentucky at the in the Alarage Farms. And she's had a little bit of an up and down season. 6 wins of 13 starts this year, though, super sharp. You move one to her outside, that's When Doves Cry. She's coming off a 1.25 mile win at Yonkers Raceway, which is a half-mile track. Brett Pelling was just talking about how she's had a really nice, easy, relaxing week coming into this. She'll start from the outside post. Again, this is a slanted gate here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, so it's a little bit of an advantage, I guess you could say, getting off of the gate well. I really like Bella Bellini. I just saw her go out onto the racetrack. She's up on the muscle, up on the bit. She looks strong and she looks ready to go. I know that last race last time out looks a little bit flat. That's the one When Doves Cry in that 1.25 mile race on a half mile. That's the first time Bella's been on a half mile in quite some time, if ever. She finished 5th, 9th. Post 9 there is a trailing position. There were 10 horses in that race, which means there were 2 trailers. There's a ton of traffic. And if you look down on the program page, she hasn't had a ton of great draws. She had a post 9 at Dayton, which is an outside post. Her, Atlanta, When Doves Cry hit the wire together. 3 starts back, she was at the Caesars Trotting Classic. She won from post 10. Of course, that's a bigger circumference of a track as well. So they're really going to be a great race here on tap for you. Who do you guys like in the Breeders' Crown final here in race 2?
Can't wait to see it, Jessica. Thank you. My heart is cheering for Atlanta, and I'd love to see her, as Jess was mentioning, get that one big win that seems to have eluded her in what has been a sensational career.
I am a sucker for happy endings. She has a race coming up at the end of the month and at the end of November at the Meadowlands. That's where she'll end her illustrious career. I think she gets the job done tonight. I would imagine that the number 3 Next Level Stuff's going to leave out of there. Hopefully, Yannick Gingras has Atlanta aggressive out of off the wings tonight.
Atlanta looking for the storybook ending today. It's time for the open mare trot. Here's Ken Middleton with the call.
The 8 When Doves Cry 7-2 on the 7 Atlanta. It's post time of the second race. It's the Breeders' Crown Open Mare Trot. Field picks up speed. Great looking start here. And they're off. Next Level Stuff fires from the inside there for Tetrick alongside his Amazon Do It Ah. From the inside, HP Mama B into third now. Down the center, Bella Bellini into fourth. Fifth outside, Atlanta marching sixth when Doves Cry. Taken back into seventh when Sorella. And the eighth one away is Refined. Driving into turn one. Take that lead for Tetrick on top here. This is Next Level Stuff. HP Mama B made a break at the inside. HP Mama B went in tight quarters, made a miscue. The opening quarter was 27 flat. Next Level Stuff on top. Amazon Do It All rides the pocket. Atlanta tucked in third when Doves Cry found fourth. Bella Bellini fifth now. Sixth inside to Sorella. Further back into seventh, Trots Refined, and HP Mama B's in recovery mode. Gingras fires up the engine on Atlanta, and she comes breathing fire out of the three-hole here in the backstretch, rushing up to second, and she'll take command. So here comes Atlanta now, speeding her way to the front. Back into second goes Next Level Stuff. Amazon Do It All third through a 55 3/2. When Doves Cry gets underway, Miller calls in her for first over. Toughness now at a fourth. Picking up the cover, a live toe here for Bella Bellini. She's into it. Sixth inside, trots along Refined, and back there seventh is Sorella. 3/8 of a mile to go for the trotting mares. They chase Atlanta 2 3/4. Pocketing up behind her, Next Level Stuff. When Doves Cries on the first over, gain third outside with cover. Bella Bellini's in the hunt fourth. Amazon Do It All trots fifth now. Sixth outside Sorella. Seventh back to Refined. 3/4 in 124 1. Sensible fractions for tempo setter Atlanta. And it's Atlanta into the stretch now. Second to the rail is Next Level Stuff. Here's Bella Bellini powering up on the grandstand side for Dunn, who's sitting chilly on her, and she is gone. Bella Bellini takes over command here in the Breeders' Crown Open Mare Trot, and she'll win going away. It's all Bella Bellini with a monstrous score. Home in 151 1, and she just missed equaling the stakes record.
Equaling a stakes record, Bella Bellini with a terrific performance. Top pick by Jessica, and Atlanta will have to settle for second.
Yeah, it's not often you see a dominant performance bring a couple of frowns on the set here. Yeah, Bella Bellini, look, she was best tonight, and the trip certainly did not hurt. She was, like you heard Ken say, towed into it by When Doves Cry. You know, it's funny. You have the two horses you need to beat. Right, they were the three horses in the race here, Acacia. You had Atlanta. She made the brush 5/8 of a mile in, cleared through a pretty even, honest half, 55 3. I thought maybe it was going to be enough for her to get home, but Bella Bellini took that perfect trip off When Doves Cry's cover and just blew her doors off the last 1/8 of a mile.
Bella Bellini, Dexter Dunn, the driver, gets the win in the Breeders' Crown Open Mare Trot, equaling the record. Fast time, a big performance from her, and you could see how she was traveling outside too. Kind of made a middle move with Atlanta. She was a little bit wide early. It looked like she was supposed to have enough in there, just unfortunately second best.
Yeah, no. And listen, this filly, mare, Bella Bellini, 4-year-old daughter of bar hopping, great name. She's had a fantastic year. This is going to push her right to $1 million, over $900,000 for the season. It's her 8th win on the year. She's had a big year. We've gotten to cover her on and off throughout the America's Day of the Races harness coverage throughout the season, and she's been hickory. Almost every time we've covered her, she's won or been won too. So she's had a good year, and she's a deserving winner. Unfortunately, it was at the hands of Atlanta.
Atlanta second best, but take nothing away from Bella Bellini. Terrific performance today in the Open Mare Trot. Some stars still waiting in the wings, though, as we look at this is what happened yesterday. That's the 2-year-old Open Pace. That's the field from yesterday. I think they wanted to talk Bulldog Hanover. We'll get to the 2-year-olds from yesterday.
I think they wanted to just rub it in my face that I thought Ammo was a live long shot last
you
night.
Didn't bet him?
And I didn't bet him last night, and he paid $106. So that was good.
We gotta get some coffee for the
There's my
crew.
boy.
Bulldog
That's
Hanover.
my boy.
He's coming up a little bit later. Of course, the world record setter. He's just been incredible. So much fun to watch, and we'll have an opportunity to see him a little bit later on in the Open Pace, the Breeders' Crown Open Pace in the 9th.
You know, a lot of my friends and colleagues might get mad at me for saying this.
What's that?
I think he's my favorite horse in training, thoroughbred or standard bred.
Interesting.
How about that one?
Interesting.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Wow.
I've tried to separate my heart from my head a little bit.
Yeah.
But with him, when it comes to him, I don't know. I get those jitters. I was watching the race from the Red Mile, and I was sick to my stomach for hours afterwards. That he couldn't get it done. He's had such a remarkable season. Equaled world records, broke the world record. He's just been so much fun. He's taken his show on the road. He's danced a lot of dances, and he's going to dance the biggest dance of the year tonight here up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. And I am really, really looking forward to exacting some revenge on Alleyway. Now, he had lost earlier in the year as well.
Yes.
So it wasn't like it was an undefeated. It wasn't a cigar-like defeat, but it was crushing nonetheless.
Do you know what I think about what you said, though, in trying to separate your head from your heart, but being excited about a horse like this? At the end of the day, yes, this is our job, but we are fans.
We're all fans.
Too.
That's
we're
how
all
we're here.
fans. The reason that we're here is because we love it. And I
said
think
that for
getting
years.
excited about a horse, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think it's awesome when there are certain horses that do that to you.
The minute we stop getting excited is the minute we should find something else to do. You
Yeah.
know that better than most, because about 20 feet on top of us here in the Equestrian is where my career was saved. When Tonalist won the Cigar Mile back in 2015, I was ready to walk away. When you lose the passion, you should walk away. Thankfully, the Bulldog has sparked the passion. I know a lot of people that don't watch harness racing. He's caught their eye, and he's trying to grab their attention a little bit. It's a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing him wrap the season tonight.
Coming up a little bit later on in the Open Pace, that's just one of the Breeders' Crown races that are still to come on today's program. Of course, we have the Open Pace final, also the 3-year-old colt pace, which will be a lot of fun too. Woodbine Mohawk Park still races 3 through 9 to come. We'll also be bringing you races 3 through 8. Little stakes action today for the 2-year-olds at Charlestown as well, dealing with a fast main track over in West Virginia as well. Today's races, as always, presented by Claiborne Farm. And there is no better time than right now to join Naira Betts. There we are in the far left-hand corner, that one little bright light. We're there at the Big A, reporting live from New York. You can also join Naira Betts today. Get a $25 free bet. New members can get up to a $200 deposit bonus using promo code CUP25. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Don't forget to join now for your $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match just in time for the Breeders' Cup World Championships. And from the Big A, from Belmont at the Big A meet a little bit earlier on today, some exciting performances in the Kelso and the Bold Ruler. A huge price in the Kelso with Double Crown and the favorite running son of a gun winning the Bold Ruler. We'll recap that after this.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at cosaonline.com.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, and it's spooky season. Brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Over 300 tracks worldwide using Naira Bets. Get started at nairabets.com. Today, did you carve a pumpkin?
Who do you think carved all of these pumpkins? No, I
Did you?
didn't carve them.
Claymore, Naira Bets,
Run Happy.
Yeah.
I didn't. Did you?
No.
Yeah,
I
no.
got a pumpkin.
We have a
It's
date
in
to
front of
color
my
Easter
cellar.
eggs this Easter coming up.
Yes, yeah. I'm down for that. Meanwhile, over at Woodbine Mohawk Park, Open Mare Trot went to Bella Bellini, just best today, closing strong on the outside to run down Atlanta.
So we realize some of you are tuning into harness racing maybe for the first time in your lives. I said that she pulled off cover. So when the number 8 one, Dove's Cry, was the first one on the outer tier, right? Atlanta was along the pylons in front. The outside, the number 8 one, Dove's Cry, was first over into her. Second over, that means cover. That's the best, one of the best trips you could pull in harness racing. Bella Bellini, who was the favorite, not that she needed that help tonight, she had one of the best trips you could pull in the sport. She pulled it, she tipped around her cover and just blew their doors off. She was, wow, I didn't realize
She
she
went
went
off the
Yeah,
favorite.
she went for it. No, I knew she was favored.
Wow.
I didn't realize she went prohibitive. 4 to 5. Crazy price.
Wow, I thought Atlanta would be shorter too. She was 4-1, refined at 47-1 in third. That's the result from the Open Mare Trot. As we turn the page, the Open Mare Pace is coming up next, and you have a short price. No surprise on this one though. Test of Faith, of course, a horse that has done a lot of good stuff on the track and is on a terrific roll right now. We'll see if she can keep that roll going, coming off of that nose victory last time out. More on the Open Mare Pace in a moment. But again, earlier today, Belmont at the Big A, we had some graded stakes action, and the Kelso, named for one of the true greats in the sport of horse racing, the incredible Kelso. Was some big balloons today, Anthony. Double Crown pulling the big upset and giving trainer Norman Cash his first graded stakes winner.
Yeah, so Baby Yoda, you're a prohibitive favorite, leads the field into the stretch with less than a quarter of a mile to go at this point. And it looks like he is, as I like to say, home Jerome. Double Crown is the longest shot on the board by, I believe, 28 points on the tote board, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like Baby Yoda's just going to hold them off.
42-1.
And at the 16th pole, it looks like Baby Yoda's the 46-1 shot, and Double Crown is the 3-5 shot. And a 2-length victory. Huge upset. I mean, look, this horse could have paid $400 today, and it would not have surprised me, because you talk about an outlier in a field of 6. He is, the quote-unquote impossible horse on paper. He wasn't too impossible at the 16th pole.
He was able to run down a tiring Baby Yoda. JD Acosta in the saddle, owned and trained, in fact, by Norman Cash, who claimed this horse for $40,000, picks up the win in the Kelso, getting that big win in Grade 2 company over your heavy favorite, Baby Yoda. Later on, we did see the Bold Ruler, and a horse that was a shorter price, but one that hasn't seen the winner's circle in a while, Runnin' Son of a Gun. I tell you what, though, Anthony, this horse lives up to his name. He shows up every single time.
He sure does. And he was facing older horses for the first time, exclusively against 3-year-olds into the year, throughout the year, I should say, and into this Bold Ruler. You know what? You saw Jack Christopher on his card. He ran well on the Gallant Bob, but down at Parks with some trouble. He didn't have any trouble today. He got a beautiful trip. He makes the lead here right around the 8th pole, and he is going to get himself into that dogfight through the lane, and he's going to get the job done here. This is a very, very nice effort. You see him battling back between horses. Heck of an effort. It wasn't the toughest group of older horses he'll ever face, but for your first start against older horses, and with 6 of them in the screen at the 8th pole, this is a very, very nice effort.
And Norman Cash nearly pulled off the graded stakes double with Eastern Bay running a big effort that behind him there too, but Runnin' Son of a Gun digging in under Kendrick Carmouche, a horse that, as you mentioned, coming out of the Gallant Bob, he was third in the Allen Jerkins behind Jack Christopher and Ganite. Faced Ganite in the Amsterdam, but he had Charge It in the Dwyer. I mean, he has faced some top quality horses and has picked up checks every single time. A shorter price than he typically is this afternoon, but nice to see him get to the winner's circle for John Toscano.
Great to see it for the Toscano family.
Yeah.
He's always running around here. His son John helps as his assistant. Son Robbie's one of my closest friends. Paulie Toscano. They all teamed up back in 2004 to post a big upset in the Spiral over Birdstone with Sinister G. So it's always nice to see them in the winner's circle. They got a nice horse on their hands right now. This horse, like you said, he answers the bell every time. He doesn't always win, but he always runs really hard. And today, his perseverance paid off.
Nice to see him get that win in the Bold Ruler and against Older as well. We will continue on with the action from the Breeders' Crown after this, as we'll see a filly that was a Horse of the Year, just the fourth filly, 3-year-old filly to win Horse of the Year last year. Test of Faith. She will be back and trying to keep that race win streak going after this.
Undefeated Grade 1 winner Mastery was a multiple graded stakes winner at 2, including this victory in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Cash Call Futurity. On the track, his recent top runners include these star performers.
It's Midnight Memories who takes the lead. Midnight Memories, much the best in the Zenyatta. Scores by 3.5.
Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
The gates fly from the beautiful Niagara Escarpment in Campbellville, Ontario. Woodbine Mohawk Park, home to the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic. The Mohawk Million on Canada's richest night of racing. And returning this fall, the Breeders' Crown Championships.
A wild finish wins the Breeders' Crown.
Woodbine Mohawk Park. Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. You gotta play here.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Our Breeders' Crown coverage is presented by Central Ontario Standardbred Association. We are excited to continue on with our Breeders' Crown coverage as we have the Open Mare Pace coming up next. And there she is, Anthony. Test of Faith, looking to make it 6 in a row.
11 wins in 5 seconds from 17 starts. A much faster win in the elimination of second and a fifth, in fact. Hers went faster than Grace Hill. We'll talk about in a minute. She's Hickory. She's 1-2, and she should probably be that price, Acacia.
She is in terrific form right now, too. Here is the number 2, So Much More.
She just missed by a nose the Test of Faith last week, and I really believe that if anybody upsets the big favorite tonight, it'll be her.
Was close right there. Here's Michaela.
Yeah, she was third with a little bit of a tough trip last week. George Brennan, the minister of pace, on the scene here, but this filly does not have a lot of speed.
She's 3-1. She's taking some attention, too. Here's the number 4, Big Price on Chase Lounge.
Yeah, she probably should be. She hasn't gotten to the winner's circle in a long time, just 3 for 17 on the year, and she is in much deeper than she's been throughout the season.
91-1 right now. Next will be the number 5, Grace Hill.
The other elimination winner from last week. She came a long way, a long mile, if you will, got the job done. On her best night, she could give the favorites some competition, but the favorite's in really good form.
Here's Easy to Please, would be a big surprise.
Yeah, she would be a big surprise. Didn't do much in the Grace Hill Elim last week, and she's a big price at 27-1 and probably should be.
I have a couple more long shots coming up next in the post parade. Next will be, she's making her way out there. Next will be the 7, No Win, No Feed.
Yeah, she is does a little bit better when she's back on her home turf at Hoosier Park. She's been sat behind the wings 29 times this year, showing her durability throughout the season.
Coming off back-to-back second place finishes. Let's see if she can hit the board at a big price again tonight. Here's the 8, Amazing Dream.
Yeah, she was first over last week behind Test of Faith. Only got beat a couple of lengths at 22-1. She's a much bigger price tonight.
Amazing Dream, 61-1 right now on the board. We're waiting for the number 9, Racine Bell, coming up next, third last time out.
This is for all of you, a league of their own fans, one of the original 4 teams in the All-American League. She was good last week. I know she comes out of the slower limb. It was her first start in a few weeks. She missed a couple of weeks, but she was good. I just don't know where she goes from out there. She's going to have to try to put the pedal to the metal. At least Brian Sears is going to have to try. The White Knight.
And here's the 10, Jai Surreal. Hopefully I said that
she
correctly.
gets, it could be Gia's. They're
Gia's
missing,
Surreal?
they're
Yeah,
missing the
maybe so.
apostrophe, I believe.
Yep.
Tough post. Tough post for Gia Surreal tonight. She's 100-1.
There's your favorite, though, and understandably so. Test of Faith, as she's coming off of 5 consecutive wins. Yes, she won by just a nose last time out, but as you mentioned, the time important. She did bear out a little bit in that last race. What do you make of this limb as she comes in off of this effort?
No, this is what you could say about the limbs. She went fast early and slow late. Grace Hill came home in 26, whereas this mare is going to come home in 27-1. You see so much more. She opted to try her inside. I wonder if that drift from David Miller on Test of Faith wasn't to put so much more to her inside. I wonder if that was a little bit by design, maybe a little bit her getting tired, and David Miller just saying, hey, I could use this to my advantage a little bit and make her pass inside. These horses are not trained to pass inside horses, harness horses, for the most part. So I think it might have been a little bit of strategy as well.
The Breeders' Crown Open Mare Pace coming up next. Jessica, will be fun to see if Test of Faith can continue on that strong streak.
It will be fun to see if she can continue on her winning streak. There's a couple others in here worth taking a look at, too. Last night, the hometown horses were the first 2 Breeders' Crown winners last night. So Much More is a hometown horse right here in Campbellville, Ontario, and she's the one who put Test of Faith to the test last week, inching in on her at the wire, just losing by a nose. I know the connections are confident in this mare. She's a very versatile mare. She's a hard-knocking mare. She beats the boys in the Open here over the winter. She was a finalist in the Milton. She's a Fillies and Mares Open pacer here week in, week out. A very good effort last week sitting on Test of Faith's back and just not getting there in time. She draws a good post, of course. Post 2 for James McDonald and trainer Don Beatson. The 5, Grayso, is the other elimination winner. And if you go back and watch that elimination win, she had a ton of traffic to navigate through there from an outside post. She's getting some post relief. She's drawing inside of the winningest post position. Of course, that's number 6, getting a perfect middle pack post. She's got plenty of gate speed if you look down on the program page. She beat the Fillies and Mares Open horses on the front from an outside post at Scioto over the summer. She can come up from off the pace, which we saw last week. She just got up by a head, paced home strongly in 26 seconds flat, scoring in 151 and 2. And of course, the reigning horse of the year, Test of Faith. I mean, there's not much more to say about her. She's just a phenomenal animal. Last week, David Miller said, he showed her the whip a little bit and put his lines up over her butt, and she took off. Although she was tested near the wire, she really put in a solid performance, 27 and 2. She does draw the rail, which can be a little bit tricky, but we saw a 2-year-old colt win out of the rail position last night from a starting position. It's going to be a good one. I'm very excited to see if Test of Faith. This will be making history. No horse ever, no filly mare ever has won the 3-year-old filly pace Breeders' Crown and come back and win it at 4. So it will be interesting to see if Test of Faith can do it this year, of course, for trainer Brett Pelling and Hall of Famer David Miller in her sulky. What do you guys think of the Breeders' Crown Open Mare Pace?
Looking forward to seeing Test of Faith. Jessica, thank you. 2-5 on that 4-year-old, as she is the reigning horse of the year, as Jessica mentioned. Anthony, do you think that she is far and above the one to beat today, or is she perhaps a little bit vulnerable?
Vulnerable's probably too strong of a term, right? You see
What's happening here?
driver Dexter Dunn adjusting some of the equipment on the number 4 Chase Lounge. He's back in the bike.
That was a nice little slide in.
Yeah, I've driven some media races.
I know.
I've never.
I think
I've
we're
never
going to hear
been
a little
able-
bit more
I've
about
never-
this later on.
We will. I've never been able to slide into the bike like
I was
that.
going to ask.
Four people had to hold the bike, and 3 people had to hold the horse, and it took me 12 minutes to climb back into the sulky. Vulnerable's the wrong term.
Yeah.
I do agree with what Jessica said. People assume that with harness racing, you always want to be down along the pylons. I don't know if that's the case all the time now, especially the game's changed a little bit with the rails gone and the pylons down in there. I do believe she is going to be on the front end tonight, unless Racine Bell comes busting out of there with Brian Sears from the 9-hole. And we'll see what she does having to cut the mile tonight. But I think she'll get the job done. So Much More is her biggest competition, I believe.
Lining up for the Breeders' Crown Open Mare Pace Contest of Faith. Keep it going. We'll find out. Here's Ken Middleton standing by with the call.
To the front and nailed Test of Faith that night. She fended her off. So Much More, the Canadian hopeful here with that inside starting spot 2. 10 of the sport's top distaffers ready for the Breeders' Crown Open Mare Pace. And they're off. Grace Hill with the element of surprise. She shows speed off the gate tonight as McNair marches her out to take that top spot. Speed outside from Amazing Dream. There's So Much More third. Floating fourth out there, No Wind, No Feed. Down the center, Michaela into fifth. Test of Faith is sixth. Seventh away to Chase Lounge. Further back to Easy to Please. Well off the speed is Racine Bell. And Gia Surreal will trail back in 10th. Heading into that first turn, Amazing Dream up front. Here comes pressure from Long Shot, No Wind, No Feed. The Long Shots battle to a quarter of 27-2. And Gingras has asked McCarthy to kindly take a seat. Amazing Dream at the inside will not give way, not to a 57-1 shot. Here comes Grace Hill now, out of third, and on the backstretch Boogie. Outside fourth, So Much More. Then it's back to Michaela fifth, Test of Faith sixth, Chase Lounge seventh, eighth inside, Easy to Please. Racine Bell shoots the gap up the cone. She's ninth now, and still 10th, Gia Surreal. So it's an action-packed first half, 54-3 as Grace Hill leads the way. So Much More on the outside, a tough trip ahead for her. She's first over and driving. Back in third, Amazing Dream. Michaela's in right now, a great spot, second over from in fourth. Picking it up fifth inside, there's No Wind, No Feed. Test of Faith is spotting it up third over six. She's 4 off the lead with about 3/8 to go. They chase race leader Grace Hill up to 3/4. So Much More, the first over, Thorn in her side. Amazing Dream is in the pocket spot. Michaela's still on cover. Test of Faith is climbing over Brennan's back there from in fifth, and here she comes wide for the drive. 3/4 in 1:21-3. And on that lead, turning home, still there, Grace Hill. So Much More on the outside. Amazing Dream is third. Michaela came up flat-footed off cover. Way out wide. Closing up comes Test of Faith. Grace Hill put to a deep stretch drive. So Much More. How tough is she? Here's Test of Faith on the grandstand side. Going to make it tight. Grace Hill on the inside. Grace Hill wins. It's Grace Hill in a front-stepping score. In 1:48-4, she's equaled the stakes record.
Another equal to the stakes record. Grace Hill able to hold off the late flying run of Test of Faith. There was a lot going on in this race, Anthony, and a different kind of pace scenario than might have been anticipated on paper.
I'm going to take nothing away from the winner, Grace Hill, here. She was third best tonight. The mile paced by So Much More here. She got beat a half length. She did so much dirty work for 5/8 of a mile here, just putting the pressure on Grace Hill. And it looks here like Grace Hill gets her separation, and she's just going to draw off and win this impressively. But So Much More keeps digging at her. I don't know what happened to Test of Faith off the gate. The gate opened. She had 0 early speed. From the 7-hole last week, she's flying out of there going 55-1 to the half. This week, she's back in 6th with excess cover. Grace Hill got the money tonight, but that was Doug McNair. They should give him more than half. They should double his fee, because that drive is what got the money tonight. I don't know about the other 2 drives. That drive got the money tonight.
Grace Hill, the other limb winner last week, comes back this week. And again, all about the trip, getting the right kind of drive today. And you can see him working on her there in the stretch, and she was game, able to hold on. A huge effort from So Much More in between. running on late. It was the #1 Test of Faith, far on the outside too. And it was interesting, especially because she had the rail draw and she was nowhere near the front early on.
That's a mind-boggling trip
Yeah.
for the favorite. When you look, and that's why I say, again, I don't want to take anything away from Grace Hill, but, you know, Doug McNair did the best job of all. I don't know how Test of Faith winds up in the 5-path from 6 lengths out of it,
Right.
turning from home. It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And again, so much more. I mean, the mile she paced tonight, she would have been a 1/5 of a second off the stakes record had she got the job done with that mile. That's pretty impressive.
Doug McNair, the driver of Grace Hill, they get the win in the Breeders' Crown Open Mare Pace. We'll bring you prices and reactions after this. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. Breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania.
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
We're really excited about Catholic Boy. I know he has some good ones coming. We have some really good ones here on the farm that we're excited about selling in September. We think a couple of them have a chance to really break through and ring the bell and be very good representations of what we've seen from the stallion. He's passing on that more than ready look with maybe a little more stretch and leg. People forget that he was so dominant in the Travers. He won it by 4 lengths, beat Good Magic, Vino Rosso, and Mendelssohn, who are all stallions that stand for more money than he does somehow, even though Catholic Boy won grade 1s on both turf and dirt at NYRA tracks. New York racing is some of the best in the world, and to win grade 1s at that circuit is really hard to do, and Catholic Boy did it a couple times. We really think the first group of horses that will be showcased at yearling sales later this summer and fall will really show what we've seen and why we're so thrilled with what we've seen with Catholic Boy. He has tremendous versatility, obviously, and so does More Than Ready. He comes from the Halo line, which we don't have much of here in the United States anymore. Obviously, it's been wildly successful in Japan. It's continuing on. All their sons and daughters that you see winning across the world stage basically trace back to Sunday Silence, which is the Halo line. So I really hope breeders will realize that we have a great Halo line here still going in the United States, and that it really needs to be supported because it's such a strong, influential line worldwide. Talking about fitting the bill for Claiborne Sire, he was a grade 6 winner at 2, not just a winner, but a grade 6 winner at 2, grade 1 winner at 3, multiple grade 1 winner at 3, and then another stakes winner at 4. So He was a stakes winner all 3 years that he raced. He's a really good-looking son of More Than Ready out of a Bernardini mare, who's a great broodmare sire. He comes from a good family, and we're hoping that he passes on his good genes that were successful on the track.
Can't wait to see the progeny of Catholic Boy on the racetrack, standing at Claiborne Farm. And our program, as always, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. You're watching America's Day at the Races. It's Breeders' Crown night, but in between, we've got a little Charlestown action for you as well. We're getting ready for race number 3 at Charlestown, 1 1/16 on the main track. We're heading on over to West Virginia, Jefferson County.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama.
Yeah. Take me home, country roads.
Well, John Denver for you on this sensational Saturday evening. Never been to Charlestown.
Me neither, actually. I've driven by it. Yeah. Charlestown Classic, Charlestown Oaks, of course, some of the marquee races that you might be a little bit more familiar with.
Sure.
And a horse that loves the Charlestown Classic, Art Collector, Grade 1 winner. I saw him back-to-back wins in the Charlestown Classic.
3-turn monster is Art Collector. 1 1/8 there is 3 turns, folks. And yeah, Art Collector for Hall of Famer Bill Mott, a 2-time winner of this race now. And here he is back on August 26th. As you can see, Travers Eve, as we call it around here, getting the job done under Luis Saez. Yeah, you know, these smaller tracks, they're just fun places. You and I never got to cover the Penn Mile together, but Hollywood Casino at Penn National, they're in the same family as Charlestown. There he is. He'll be at Claiborne Farm when he wraps up his racing career. Nice horse, solid horse, 2-time winner of that Charlestown Classic. See a lot of nice horses go to the Charlestown Oaks. That whole night of racing has been a pretty good night of racing for them, and the fans come out in droves. And like I said, those small town nights, it's a lot of fun. And spent many nights over at the Meadowlands for night racing. I'm a big fan of night racing. I'm a big proponent of night racing. I do not mind it. Even, you know, now that I cover night racing, I enjoy it. I like night racing. I think it's fun.
I like it too, but it is past my bedtime, I won't lie.
Well, yeah, I mean,
being a trainer's wife suits me very well. I'm very happy to be in bed at 9 o'clock.
Keep toasting your bagels. See where it gets you. 4 to 5.
I will keep toasting my bagel.
4 to 5 on a little slice of pie occasionally.
I could go for a little slice of pie right now.
Yeah, well, you know, we don't have any pie around here. I like the 7 gossiping.
Favorite kind of pie?
My apple crumb pie. It's the best pie in the world.
Wow. I've never tasted it.
Gossiping.
Race 3, Charlestown, coming up 1 1/16. A little slice of pie, the favorite for Dale Capuano, stretching out. Let's go to track announcer Paulo Espinosa Jr.
Half the field is in, half the field to go. Rhythm Tree next up. Gossiping. Just 2 left to load. Boca Birdie. Last one in will be Feel the Glory. Feel the Glory goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. A little bit of an awkward start for Feel the Glory. And there goes Pretty Spectacular out to the front, quickly up to take over from a little slice of pie. The favorite content to sit second, and now Gossiping moves down to the 3 path. Now moves up into second as they bend around the far turn for the first time. Tina's Shining Star running along in that 4th position. Magnificent Rocket outside of her from 5th. Then comes Feel the Glory wide around that first turn. Then it's Rhythm Tree, and the trailer is the late-running Boca Birdie as they come by us for the first time. 3 of them line up for the lead, and Gossiping tugs her way up to a neck advantage with 1 lap to go. Opening quarter in 24, and for it's Gossiping narrowly here from a little slice of pie and Pretty Spectacular racing in between that duo as they head into the second of 3 turns. Then comes Tina's Shining Star. She's in 4th, but already 8 lengths off the pace setters as they head to the half-mile pole. Feel the Glory is in 5th. And then comes Rhythm Tree, followed by Magnificent Rocket, and Boca Birdie remains the trailer as they head past that half-mile pole. An opening half completed in 49 and 4. So the odds-on favorite, a little slice of pie, steps on it now, moves away to a 4-length advantage. and heads to the 3/8 pole, now in front by 5, getting away from Pretty Spectacular and Gossiping. Tina's Shining Stars back in 4th. It's another half a dozen or so to Feel the Glory. No one else making much of an impact from behind as they hit the far turn for the final time. A Little Slice of Pie has built up a 7-length lead with a quarter of a mile left to run. It's still Pretty Spectacular who's back in 2nd, then Gossiping and Tina's Shining Star, 3/16 to go. A Little Slice of Pie comes to the top of the stretch in front by 8 lengths now. 1 furlong to go. A Little Slice of Pie rips off the turn. Down at the rail, Pretty Spectacular plugging along from 2nd. Then comes Gossiping, Tina's Shining Star, and Boca Birdie from the back. A Little Slice of Pie getting weary late, but still hanging on to a 5-length lead, and she will score. A Little Slice of Pie by 4.5 in the end over Gossiping. Then Tina's Shining Star and Pretty Spectacular in 1:53 and 4.
A little slice of pie, a little leg weary after the 3 turns of the mile and a 16th, but able to hold on to get the win.
Haran Barbosa, 5-pound apprentice. This was a good ride tonight. You know what? I'm on the prohibitive favorite. Can't get in any trouble on the front end. We just go there and see if good things happen. And guess what, Acacia? Good things happen.
Yep.
Wire to wire. I also don't believe in a little slice of pie because I've never had a little slice of pie.
No,
I have big heaping chunks of pie.
Especially with Thanksgiving coming up soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be a large slices of pie. Back over at Woodbine Mohawk Park, the open mare pace went to Grace Hill. $13.30 winner holding off Test of Faith. A huge effort from So Much More. Doug McNair, the driver, standing by with Jessica.
Standing by with driver Doug McNair as Grace Hill takes the Breeders' Crown Final for those open mare pacers, becoming harness racing's newest millionaire, equaling the stakes record of 148 and 4. Another Breeders' Crown under your belt. How does this feel?
Yeah, it's a big thrill. Like I said, it's tough to get in these races and tough enough to get a real nice mare like that. So it was a lot of fun.
Let's talk about our elimination last week. You were stuck in all sorts of trouble to get out. You were able to get up for the win by a neck. This week, no joking around. You definitely left out of the gate hard enough.
Yeah, she was brave from last week. You know, they said she wasn't 100% last week either, and I just took a shot at the short field, and I didn't think it was going to work out, and we got lucky last week, so just figured we'd give her a lot better shot tonight and make them beat her.
It was an action-packed first half. Your hand was kind of forced there up the backside to move her. Definitely a good move. Test of Faith, we all know, is an amazing mare in her own right. She was coming hard on the outside. What were you thinking nearing the wire?
Yeah, my mare felt real great till, down by the wire, she was getting tired. Those were pretty stiff fractions today, and she dug in tough. So I was definitely worried about Test of Faith, that's for sure. But I'm not sure the trip. I imagine she was second over, so she had a pretty good shot at her.
Nice job. Best luck the rest of the night.
Thanks, Jess.
Back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. Doug McNair with a terrific drive with Grace Hill getting the win. We turn the page. We continue on with our Breeders' Crown action. It's the 3-year-old filly Trot coming up next, and we'll meet the field. Jiggy Jogs versus Joviality. This will be a fun one, but the post-parade kicks off with Bear My Soul.
Bear My Soul leaves from the inside draw tonight. She's a big price at 70 to 1 after finishing 4th behind Jiggy Jog last week.
Here is Jiggy Jog. Back to back. Looking for 4 in a row.
One of the best names in all of horse racing, standardbred or thoroughbred. 3 in a row from off the pace last week. It's a little bit of a more inside draw for Dexter Dunn. We'll see what kind of a trip she works out tonight.
Here is Mischievous Rose, the 3.
Yeah, she came first over and kind of quarter moved last week from the 7-hole draw. Tonight from the 3-hole, Louis Philippe Roy won one of these Breeders' Crown races last night. We'll see how he navigates this filly tonight.
And I should say this one is spelled Mischievous Rose. Here is Joviality, currently your favorite, and rightly so.
Boy, she's come a long way in her last 2 races. One at Woodbine, one at Lexington, down at the Red Mile. Big mile last week for her. If she can duplicate that effort, they're all running for second money, Acacia.
Was beaten by Jiggy Jog 2 starts back. They'll rematch tonight. Here's Miss Waller Fashion.
Yeah, she jumped off stride 2 starts back down at the Red Mile. Came back with a nice effort last week. Basically just ran second, raced second most of the way before Joviality ran by her late.
Fashion Schooner is the 6.
She opened up a big lead in the Jiggy Jog elimination last week before Jiggy Jog came to get her. Wonder if the same tactics are employed this week by Timmy Tetrick.
You just wanted to say Jiggy Jog several more times.
I did.
Yeah. I saw what you were doing there. Here's Warwi Xenia.
Yeah, she's another one. She came a long way in the Joviality, not the Jiggy Jog elimination last week, and came off a scratch sick, missed 3 weeks. That was a big mile from her. She's taking an awful lot of money. If she was twice that price, she'd be worth a wager. That's a tough price to take on her right now, though.
Raised by Lindy is the 8.
Yeah, she jumped off stride 2 weeks back as well. Came back with a nice smile last week. Yannick Gingras, her regular driver. See what kind of a trip he works out from the 8-hole tonight. She's way too big a price, though, at that number.
Owned by Lindy Farms, the Antonacci family involved in thoroughbred racing as well. Here's the number 9, Pure Countess.
Yeah, Aki Svanstedt going to drive as well as trains this daughter of Chapter 7. I don't know what kind of a trip she's going to get from the 9-hole. She's a giant price at 80-1.
And a long shot to the outside of Venerable, the 10.
Yeah, another one. You know, with the slanted gate, the outside draws aren't as encumbering as they are on a standard gate, but these fillies are facing so much tougher competition that any little bit would help. These draws do not help.
Going the mile with the slanted gate, for those who may not be familiar, can you describe why it would change the importance and the significance of the draw?
Yeah, it gives the outside runners a little bit of a better angle going into the turn. Dave Reed, who does a lot of work with Frank Antonacci, he's watching tonight. He just sent me a text to explain maybe what happened with Test of Faith. He said it's really tricky with the slanted gate from the inside, especially from the 1-hole up at Woodbine Mohawk Park, so may want to keep that in mind going forward.
Absolutely. 4 to 5 right now on Joviality for the 3-year-old filly trot. Let's go back to Jessica.
Deservingly so, Joviality is of the 4 to 5 favorite right now, but there's plenty of talent in this field. Of course, back in August, you guys saw the Hambletonian Oaks winner, Fashion Schooner, with a big upset win out of post 10. Tonight, she draws post 6 after coming off of a second-place finish in her elimination, which she did so prior to the Hambletonian Oaks as well. This will be the first time she's raced back-to-back in quite some time. Trainer Jim Campbell opted to not take her down to Lexington, Kentucky, because they can't race on Lasix there, and she is a Lasix horse as of the last handful of starts. She won at Hoosier Park back in September on the 23rd in a strong gate-to-wire victory. She draws the winningest post position here tonight at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Of course, the 2 horses that everybody has their eyes on as well is the 2 and the 4, Jiggy Jog and Joviality, both winning their elimination races. When these 2 faced down at Lexington, Kentucky, it was Jiggy Jog who got up for the win. Joviality has just not had a ton of luck with the post position draws. Last time out, Joviality had post 9 here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. She got away 10th off of the gate, parked to the quarter, and she never really had a chance to see the rail in there. Coming around that last turn, she was stocked 4th over, coming 4 wide down the stretch, getting up by a length and a half to win 152 and 3, 26 and 2 kicker at the end of it. She draws post 4 tonight with Brian Sears in the bike for trainer Marcus Melander, and this is just another phenomenal filly. $1.9 million in the bank, and she has won 11 of her 14 starts this year. We saw her finish 3rd in the Hambletonian against the boys, and of course Jiggy Jog. She draws post 2 for Dexter Dunn and Aki Svanstedt last week. That was a track and Canadian record of 151 and 2, 26 and 2 kicker at the end of it as well. She's super sharp coming into this race, riding a 3-race win streak. She's a versatile filly as well. She can do it gate to wire, as you saw 2 back in Lexington, Kentucky from post 8. And last week she come from off of the pace as well. So it's going to be a very interesting race. We have a ton of speed in here. We have a ton of talent in here. The hometown horse, Warwi Xenia, she had a ton of traffic trouble last week, finishing 4th in her elimination, 26 and 3. Bobby McClure had her under wraps. Couldn't find daylight, if you'd like to say, coming for home. So she'll draw post 7 tonight. She looked very good out on the track warming up. I watched her score down just about an hour ago. So lots and lots of action in here. Plenty of speed. It's going to be another good one in here. Jiggy Jog, Joviality, or Fashion Schooner? Who will it be?
We'll soon find out. Jessica, thank you. 4 to 5 on Joviality right now, as Jiggy Jog, the horse who is coming off of 3 straight. She comes out of that elim last week, and Jiggy Jog, also just enjoy saying the name. What were your thoughts on this one? She was impressive last week, Anthony.
Yeah, so she's coming off cover, but she did not have the best cover because her cover stalled midway on the far turn. She had a tip around and still, I mean, she's just got a huge head of steam here occasionally. She's just rolling on by. It looks like she's taken 2 strides to the leader's 1. She just gobbles her up and draws off to a very, very nice win. Like I said, you know, if she comes with her elimination, and I know it was faster than Joviality's, but I was more impressed with, as good as Jiggy Jog was, look where Joviality comes from, right? You see her, she's got, now that's considered excess cover, which completely disappears because the horse in the pocket pulled. She's 4th over now. You do not see a lot of horses win going 4th over. You'll see it more so on the 7/8 tracks and the mile tracks like the Meadowlands, but very hard regardless of where you are. And I mean, you want to talk about a horse mowing them down late. She is absolutely, save wings, she's flying down the center of the track up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. If they both come with their A race, this could very well be the race of the night.
Yeah.
Because I think these two elimination winners are probably the closest in talent and in recent efforts than any of the others on the card tonight.
I'm excited for this one. The matchup between Joviality and Jiggy Jog is going to be fun. And Anthony, we are having some technical difficulties. Unfortunately, we're a little frozen right now. There we go. It looks like it's your moment, my friend.
Well,
take it away. You got to call the race. We don't have Ken Middleton here, but I know we're in very capable hands. I've had to call races before, and I would have way less faith in myself than the faith I have in you right now.
We'll try and pull this off as they leave for the Philly Trot. Off stride at the start is Fashion Schooner. Fashion Schooner's on a break. Miss Walner Fashion leaves for position, as does Raised by Lindy on the outside. Down towards the inside is Mischievous Rose, outside to Joviality. And there's a break to the inside of Bear My Soul. Outside is Wearaway Xena. We come back to Pure Countess. Raised by Lindy and Venerable. Back to the top. It's Miss Walner Fashion and Todd McCarthy. They lead the field. Raised by Lindy in the pocket in second. We come back to, I want to say that is Mischievous Rose in third. Joviality is fourth. And we come back to Bear My Soul. Waraway Xenia. Mischievous Rose is there. Jiggy Jog's far back tonight. And then we have Venerable as Miss Walner Fashion leads them. Miss Walner Fashion, a length and a half to the good of Raised by Lindy. We come back to trying to make out that saddle towel there. I believe that's Jiggy Jog. I made a mistake before. Jiggy Jog is there. Now Joviality pulls to the outside in fourth with Bear My Soul along the inside in fifth. Come back to Waraway Xenia. Pure Countess is there, as is Venerable and Raised by Lindy. On a break, I was the leader, Miss Walner Fashion. Miss Walner Fashion on a break that allows Jiggy Jog to grab the lead. Jiggy Jog's in front, Raised by Lindy. Joviality following Jiggy Jog along the outside. Down towards the pylons is Bear My Soul. They're in the stretch here. Raised by Lindy has the lead along the inside. Jiggy Jog to the outside. Joviality is third. Far outside, Waraway Xenia is trying to come on. Jiggy Jog takes the lead away from Raised by Lindy. It's Jiggy Jog by a length. Raised by Lindy between horses. Bear My Soul outside. Joviality coming down to the line. Jiggy Jog going to take the 3-year-old Philly Trot over Raised by Lindy. Joviality and Bear My Soul. It's Jiggy Jog in the 3-year-old Trot.
Anthony Stabile with the call. Well done, my friend. And thank goodness we had a race caller up here on the set with us. Really well done. And you got your wish. You got to say Jiggy Jog a lot of times.
100 times. This was fantastic. You know what? This was a strange race.
Yes, it was.
Because going in, the two elimination winners came from well off the pace last week. You would imagine somebody was going to try and find some more position. Jiggy Jog found the position. I apologize for not finding her, folks. They have a weird shade of blue.
Yes.
For their blue up at Woodbine, Mohawk Park. But she got the better trip tonight. Dexter Dunn gave her a fantastic drive. Joviality just didn't have her kick tonight. She just did not move forward off of the effort last week. I'll tell you who trotted well.
Raised by Lindy.
My man Frank Antonacci almost pulled this one off in a huge price. She was good, and again, Yannick Gingras with an aggressive drive. That's what you want to see. Race change shape at the 3/8 pole when the leader, Miss Walner Fashion, went on a break. But Jiggy Jog, I don't want to say she did just that tonight, but she got the job done.
With the win, Dexter Dunn driving. Aki Svanstedt, the trainer, Jiggy Jog, now makes it 4 in a row. She had the punch that was needed in the stretch. A huge price raised by Lindy, who was stalking the pace early. She hung in there. She was very game, holding on. I believe she might have even held second. 1:51.1 was the time. Jiggy Jog, the winner. And maybe we didn't see the matchup expected between her and Joviality, but we did see a filly that's in very good form right now.
Yeah, really nice effort. We didn't see the heads-up matchup we wanted to see, but we did get to see Jiggy Jog get the job done tonight.
And a terrific job by my friend Anthony Stabile calling the 3-year-old filly trot. Prices, reactions, and more after this.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program was created in 2018 by Wanda Policini. Purple Haze provides training to transition into new careers and finding homes. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before going on. Horses at Purple Haze are evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, please contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.
Adelphi Racing Club, offering a truly personal racing experience.
I would just say that it's a smaller, tighter-knit group. Everybody has a common interest. We spend a lot more time together than some of the bigger operations, and I very much enjoy that.
We're not just a syndicate, and our members aren't just investors. We are partners. Contact us to get a taste of the Adelphi Racing experience, and let's win races together.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Our program brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Apologies for the technical difficulties that we did have with Fox Sports 2. We're back now. Keisha Clement, Anthony Stabile, Jessica Otten with us, as well as we continue on with the Breeders' Crown coverage. Woodbine Mohawk Park in the spotlight. And if you go to YouTube, you'll have the opportunity to see what just happened with the 3-year-old filly trot, and hear my friend Anthony Stabile pinch hitting as the race caller. A terrific job doing that cold, my friend.
Thank you, Little Ed. That was fun. And we saw a fantastic effort. You're going to see the complexion of the race change. Miss Walnut Fashion. She going to jump it? When's she jumping it? She jumped it already?
I think she did already.
Oh, okay. Oh, she jumped it. And here comes Jiggy Jog to get the money.
Raised by Lindy with a big effort. I think this might be the wrong replay. That was race 3.
I'm still waiting for Miss Walnut Fashion to jump.
That's anyway. Test of Faith and Grace Hill.
I'll take 5-1.
It's 5-1 for the money. That was
the first winner.
That's what happened in the Open Mare Pace. There was another race that happened.
Can I tell them who won? Jiggy Jog.
Jiggy Jog. Everybody take a shot. Jiggy Jog was the winner of the 3-year-old filly trot. We'll get there eventually.
I'd have everybody drunk by now with
the
Jiggy Jog.
So. But you know what? The thing about her, though, with Jiggy Jog, 4 in a row now, and she's really been a filly that's just taken a step in the right direction. Here's the race, as you were mentioning, Miss Walnut Fashion going off course there. We saw a big effort from the runner-up, raised by Lindy at a big price, and with the punch needed at the end was your winner.
Yeah, raised by Lindy and Yanni Gingras really dug in. This is like 3 races in a row now. We've seen the inside horses really hold their ground. But Jiggy Jog just proved to be too much for her. She just kept on trotting up to her and trotting up to her. And you see Raised by Lindy doesn't want to go away, but Jiggy Jog just pours it on the last, 30 yards to get the job. Wow, what a price on Jiggy Jog tonight.
And hopefully you threw in Raised by Lindy 53-1 underneath. Joviality went off at 4-5. Just didn't have it today.
The beauty of being able to play these races on Naira Bets is that those 20-cent trifectas, you can get a little inventive. So a good example here, you take $4, you go 204. There you go.
Dexter Dunn, the driver of Jiggy Jog, is standing by with Jessica Otten.
Jiggy Jog sets a new track, stakes, and Canadian record, capturing that 3-year-old filly trot. How good was she tonight to do that?
She was really good, Jess. Her run last week was in the elimination was awesome. She probably never felt better this year. So, give me confidence in coming into the night and got away handy enough. But I was a little worried with Joviality right on my hammer, following me into the race. So, but my filly's credit, she, really kicked on straight and, wasn't going to be denied tonight.
Talk about this filly over the course of her 3-year-old season, because she looks handy on paper. She looks like just a true professional on the racetrack.
Oh, she really is. It's probably like a lot of, Aki and Sarah's horses are brilliant to drive, and they've got great manners. So, she's been a joy all year, and, she makes my job easy. She knows what to do. 10
Breeders' Crowns under your belt. What does it mean to you to win a Breeders' Crown final?
It's awesome. You work all year, traveling around tracing these horses, and, as they say, it all comes down to the Breeders' Crown. But it's just a great weekend to be a part of, and pleasure to be here, and lucky when you get to drive the good horses.
Nice job, and best of luck on the rest of the night.
All right, thanks, Jess.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Jessica, thank you. Dexter Dunn, terrific job with Jiggy Jog, getting the win. As we turn the page, get ready for the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old filly Pace coming up next. Here's a look at the field. Nikki Hill, 6-5 right now.
Acacia, I probably spent a third of the time handicapping these Breeders' Crown races on this race.
This
race drove me bonkers.
This is a tough one.
Absolutely bonkers.
More from Woodbine Mohawk Park in a moment. We head back over to West Virginia. Charlestown coming up next. The 4th race is our next order of business. 7 furlongs. That's 2 turns over at Charlestown in this $5,000 claiming race. 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3. And currently taking a look at your favorite, the number 7, Mongolian Hero, who does cut back in distance.
Yeah, a series of mile and a 16th and more races. Last time this horse sprinted was at Parks in a natural 7/8 race back in June of last year. So this horse essentially for a year and a half has just had a steady diet of 2-turn races on turf and dirt in the Mid-Atlantic and in Jersey. And I think this horse is a little bit of a better dirt horse. Turf horse, rather.
Turf, yeah.
2-1. I think there was some more attractive alternatives in here. I thought the number 4, who's 3-1 in here, Snow Candy, stretching back out. This horse has had a series of races out of town and gets back to a place where he suffered his lone defeat at Charlestown last time. But that was going 6.5. And I think the stretch out is going to help him to the 7. And I know it's only, you say, it's only a 16th of a mile. I think it's a big 16th of a mile for him. He's never been the 7, but it looks like he's going to like the 7. We know he likes it at Charlestown. He's had the race at Delaware was in the mud. The race at Monmouth was against Better. I just think this horse is sitting on I don't want to say a big race, but a bigger race than he's run. And I'll take him. He's taking some money, too. I mean, the pools aren't huge at Charlestown, but he's a decent enough price to take a little shot against the favorite.
A Little Slice of Pie was the favorite in the last race at Charlestown, got the win. Let's see if the favorite can do that once again. Mongolian Hero, 9-5. And I'm still hoping that Anthony's famous apple crumb pie will make an appearance as we get closer.
I'm going to make a couple. I'm going to make a couple for. I'm going to make one for my Naira. I work for like 17 different departments here at Naira.
Yeah.
So
you're the original Renaissance man of Naira.
Thank you very much, Acacia. I'm glad somebody recognizes that and respects that. So yes, the apple crumb pies will be made for Christmas time. My secret, folks out there. I mean, you're getting harness knowledge, thoroughbred action.
I need some help.
I shave my apples.
Oh, interesting.
I shave the apple
Wow.
with a cheese grater.
Wow. Let the juice
Mom doesn't
out?
like. It's all for Mom. It's all for Phil. She doesn't like chunks of apple.
Interesting.
So my grandmother Helen of Austrian descent, she made the greatest apple strudel in the world, and she shaved the apples.
Wow.
So I decided that I would try that for the apple pie, and I mean, it's a brilliant move.
Yeah.
What else? I can't say anything else.
Interesting.
Cuts down on the sugar too, because the juice makes it a
Natural.
little sweeter. So I could cut down. You know, you don't get a figure like mine, a shape like mine, round, without getting rid of a little sugar. So
My specialty for baking is Rice Krispie treats.
they are.
Yeah.
Yes, and her mother Sherry makes the greatest cookies on the planet.
She's the cookie master. Yeah. And now I'm hungry.
I'm the cookie monster. She's the cookie master.
Race 4 from Charlestown, Mongolian Hero, the favorite to the outside. We're going 7 furlongs, 2 turns. Let's go to Paul Espinosa Jr. for the call.
The Heat of the Night and Shanghai Candy. Last one in, Mongolian Hero. Goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. It was a good level beginning. From the outside, Mongolian Hero moves up to challenge Ricardito for the top spot, and it will be Mongolian Hero to have the lead by the time they complete 1 furlong. In front, 3 parts of length from Ricardito in second. The Heat of the Night comes away in third, and then Shanghai Candy from fourth. Lefty's Kisses is in fifth, and then comes Snow Candy. Early trailer is Feisty Kitten, so they bend into the clubhouse turn. With Mongolian Hero finding his way down to the rail, he has the lead by a half length from the gray Ricardito, who now moves up within a neck of the lead as they approach the half-mile pole. Opening quarter in 25 seconds flat. No pace on it all here, and the favorites in front. Mongolian Hero by that neck advantage from Ricardito in second. The Heat of the Night is back in third and only 3.5 lengths off the lead, and then comes Lefty's Kisses, who's joined outside by Shanghai Candy, then Snow Candy, and the trailer remains Feisty Kitten. Mongolian Hero trying to shrug off the challenge of Ricardito, and here comes the Heat of the Night, who's putting in a 3-wide bid. Shanghai Candy putting in a 4-wide rally. And then comes Lefty's Kisses from fifth. Then Snow Candy in a big gap back to Feisty Kitten. They race around the far turn. Mongolian Hero digging in on the front end, but here comes his stablemate Shanghai Candy up to challenge. Mongolian Hero and Shanghai Candy to the top of the stretch together. Mongolian Hero digging in under left-handed pressure. Shanghai Candy presses past, and it's Shanghai Candy and Jose Montano. Shanghai Candy on to win it by a length and a half over Mongolian Hero. Then Lefty's Kisses and the Heat of the Night in 129 and 3.
Shanghai Candy cutting back in distance off the back of a win. Picks up another victory today.
I picked the wrong candy.
Yeah.
I liked Snow Candy. It was Shanghai Candy, though. 2 for 2 now for the E.M. Jones Jr. barn. Perfect 3 for 3 at Charlestown. Likes those 2 turns. Even another one cutting back, and this one was a little bit of a better cutback, getting the job done 2 in a row now for this son of, you guessed it, Shanghai Bobby.
Shanghai Candy, ridden to victory by Jose Montano, gets the win.
Lazy name.
At Charlestown. A name that I know you like, King of the North. What do you know is co-owned by thoroughbred trainer Wesley Ward. We're going to learn a little bit more about this horse. You recognize those blinkers after this.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at COSAonline.com.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
We take pride in what we do.
For me, it's more of a passion than actual work. I'm an assistant trainer.
Carpenter.
I'm a peace officer.
I'm a jockey.
I'm a gardener.
I'm a groom.
Clocker.
Assistant starter. Trainer.
ESL teacher.
I love what I do.
There's so many jobs that come together every day. It's a collective effort that really makes this ball go round.
We are New York Racing. I couldn't imagine working anywhere else.
For me, riding horses in the morning is the best thing I can do.
New York Racing helps support my small business.
It's extremely important to the New York economy.
Like my dream come true.
This is like a big family.
We are New York Horse Racing.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Our Breeders' Crown coverage is brought to you by Central Ontario Standardbred Association. Woodbine Mohawk Park, the site of the Breeders' Crown this year. And it's the 3-year-old filly Pace coming up next here in the 5th. We'll meet the field starting off with the number 1, Queen of Success.
Yeah, there were no eliminations for this Breeders' Crown race. She finished second to Nikki Hill last week, a couple of weeks back down at the Red Mile.
She's 10-1 right now on the board. Here's the 2, Boudoir Hanover.
5th behind Queen of Success and Nikki Hill in that Red Mile race back on October 9th. She did not have the cleanest trip that night. I think she'll be more forward away from the gate with Todd McCarthy this evening.
8-1 right now on that one. Big price on the number 3 coming up next, Sweet Kisses.
Just her second start since August 20th. She did not pace well when last seen down at the Red Mile. I'll take a pass.
29-1, big price. Tim Tetrick, the driver there. As next will be the 4, Sea Silk.
Yeah, she was first up in that Red Mile race and then wound up fading to finish last. They went fast that night. I don't know what kind of a trip she's going to get. She also gets her Lasix back. That might make her a little bit interesting.
Another one with some early speed. Here's the 5, Prohibition Legal.
Hometown horse. She hasn't missed as much time as some of the others has in here. She tried to lead them gate to wire in an Ontario Stallion Series race last time as your 3-5 favorite. Finished second, beating a couple of lengths late.
Look out for Treacherous Dragon.
Yeah, she hasn't paced since the Jughead final back on September 21st. She's missed a couple more weeks than Nikki Hill and the rest. She beat Nikki Hill in a qualifier over the course last Friday.
Max Contract is next.
Yeah, she finished third to Nikki Hill and Queen of Success in the race down at the Red Mile. I thought she paced a good mile that night. We'll see if Andy Miller, if the Orange Crush, can get her into the game here at 6-1.
Trying to turn things around is the 8, Just Divine.
Yeah, she would need to do just that. It's been tough road to hoe for this New York bred. Yanni Gingras going to try and turn her luck around.
Number 9, Silver Label.
She was off a qualifier 2 weeks ago, then got the job done in that Sire Series race up in Ontario. Doug McNair looking to win another Breeders' Crown race on the evening at 19-1.
She's been pretty consistent as of late. Next we go to your favorite, coming off a second place finish behind Treacherous Dragon. Here is Nikki Hill.
And you know what, Acacia, at the end of the night, she might just be the best filly in here. She had a huge 2-year-old season, got a late start this year, but she's the freshest of these fillies, and ultimately that was the deciding factor for me to reluctantly take the favorite in here.
And one more to go, a big price to the outside, Galleria Hanover.
Yeah,
Galleria, excuse me.
Big price. Now, she'll leave, if I'm not mistaken, from the second tier. She will leave from behind the number 1, Queen of Success. This is not something you obviously see in thoroughbred racing. We do not start from the second tier. So we'll see. You see that light blue. It's not a saddle towel they'll use often. But she will be behind the number 1, Queen of Success, when the gates open. She's almost 50-1.
Nikki Hill, 7-5. Let's go back to Jessica for some trackside analysis.
There was no elimination needed for these 3-year-old pacing fillies, so 11 of them head straight into the final. 2 of them prepped here last Friday morning. That was Treacherous Dragon and Nikki Hill. Treacherous Dragon will draw to the inside post 6, the winningest post position here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. And Nikki Hill is going to have to overcome that outside post 10 on the slanted gate. Of course, Nikki Hill winning the divisional honors last year in the Dan Patch Awards for the 2-year-old pacing filly. She came back this year, made a break in her first start at Harris, Philadelphia in May, and missed missed a good chunk of time there. She just started back a few months back in Lexington, Kentucky, rattling off 2 straight wins in a row, then finished second in that qualifier here last week. It was a very good tune-up. The articles and talking to Chris Ryder and Dexter Dunn, they are confident in their filly to come back. She was strong in Lexington, 48-4, winning by 2 3/4 of a length, 26-1 at the end of the mile. A little time to freshen up there. Again, like I said, with that qualifier last week. And Treacherous Dragon, she was really on a roll there early on in the season. She changed barns to Nancy Tactor's barn later in the season, about midway through. She was not doing so well. She wasn't finding that kick at the end of the mile. She wasn't racing well. She was drawing poorly. She wasn't the horse we had seen earlier on in the year. Nancy qualified her with Lasix in Lexington, and she drew off by 12 lengths, winning in 151. They put her on Lasix. That was why she didn't go back to Lexington. You can't race in stake races on Lasix. So she opted to take her to the Jugette. She won her elimination. She won the final sitting on Sea Silk's back. She came back last week and qualified in a nice mile here under wraps with Scott Zeron on the bike. Now that Scotty Z's got a start under her belt, he'll know her very well coming into this race. In the 4, Sea Silk, Ron Burke trainee here, Chris Page in from Ohio. This is a daughter of Down by the Seaside, and he's really taken the scene here in the standardbred world since he's become a stud. She finished second in that Jugette, like I had mentioned. She cut the fractions just by a neck to lose to Treacherous Dragon. She won her Ohio State Championship race at Dayton, went to Lexington. She had to go off of that Lasix, and it was not a very good start for her. She scope sick after the race, so she's coming into this race, with a little bit of time off. She trained up well. She's a horse that comes into these races better when she has a little bit of time off. She draws inside of the 2 horses in here, I think, that are going to be her biggest threat, in Treacherous Dragon and Nikki Hill, but you got to stay out of the traffic trouble there in the first turn with the post 11 starting from the second tier. Another horse that we've seen take, a ton of action this year after only having 1 lifetime start as a 2-year-old, and that's Max Contract. She'll start from post 7. Her breeder, Steve Jones, is here tonight, and I know that they've been high on this filly all year long, and she put up a couple of upset wins at the Meadowlands earlier on in the year against Treacherous Dragon when she snapped her win streak there. So this filly loves a bigger track. She can track down horses. She can leave out of the gate like a rocket and cut the mile as well. So another great event coming up here in the 3-year-old filly pace Breeders' Crown. I think this is one of the divisions that is maybe more questionable for year-end honors, so I think maybe who wins it tonight will get a little bit of a head jump in the divisional honors for the Dan Patch Awards in 2022.
Jessica, thank you. And those divisional honors, so important and a pivotal point in the year. And these are the big races for those tuning in. We look forward to the Breeders' Cup next week in thoroughbred racing. The Breeders' Crown, so prestigious and really does hold a lot of weight as far as those year-end honors.
Sure does. Sure does. I picked Nikki Hill in here. I thought the 1 Queen of Success and the 2 Boudoir Hanover both had big upset chances. Don't love the fact that they're drawn inside based on the information I was given about a half hour ago. But I think they're both, I believe, 11-1 right now. They're 2 that I think could upset this apple. I don't think either of the favorites have to win this race tonight.
Lining up for the Breeders' Crown, 3-year-old filly Pace. Let's go to Ken Middleton for the call.
We've got a group of 11, 10 across the gate, and a trailer. It's the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old filly Pace next. Starting gate picks up speed. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Silver Label goes into attack mode early from the outside. Nikki Hill follows suit and joins. Down the center, Prohibition Legal marching out 2. Treacherous Dragon, a pace presence early. Taken back in 5th goes Sea Silk. 6th inside to Boudoir Hanover. Pole Sitter, Queen of Success into 7th. Max Contract lays parked out 8th. Driving through at the inside to claim that 9th spot is Sweet Kisses from the 2nd tier. Galleria Hanover with just 1 rival beaten going to the quarter, and that is Just Divine, who studies 10 in front of her. The opening quarter was a white-hot 26 seconds flat. Treacherous Dragon leads them into the backstretch. Nikki Hill gets roughed up in the early going. She still makes a bid for the lead. Park past 3/8 and beyond. Inside 3rd is Silver Label. Stablemate Prohibition Legal back into 4th. 5th inside now Sea Silk. Traveling 6th is Boudoir Hanover, and she starts a move to the outside, trying to fish out cover. Max Contract yet to see the rail. Further back Sweet Kisses. Getting underway in the backfield now. There goes Queen of Success. Scooting up the inside just divine, Galleria Hanover trails at a 54 1/2. Nikki Hill favored in charge going into the final turn. 3/8 of a mile to go for her now. Treacherous Dragons on her bumper in second. Sea Silk first up third. Cover Enjoyed fourth on the outside as they make their way to 3/4 by Boudoir Hanover. Then inside is Silver Label. Prohibition Legal. Underway is Max Contract on the outside third over. 3/4 in 1:22. And they wheel home. Trying to track down Nikki Hill. She's got 2 in the field. Treacherous Dragon second. Sea Silk outside third. Boudoir Hanover. Max Contract rolling. Silver Label gets an inside late lane. Into the final 1/8 of the mile. Still there at the lead. It's Nikki Hill trying to stay brave for the final 16th. Here comes Boudoir Hanover brushing up on the outside late. Splitting through comes Treacherous Dragon. And it's Treacherous Dragon to win the Breeders' Crown by a neck as she threads the needle late for a 1:49-1 score.
Treacherous Dragon makes it 5 in a row. She comes through between horses and gets the win gamely over Nikki Hill.
You know, I had a whole big speech prepared for this heat. No, the Treacherous Dragon and Nikki Hill, and I still think Nikki Hill's a little bit better than Treacherous Dragon, were the 2 best fillies in this race.
Yes.
But circumstance, Treacherous Dragon missing 5 weeks, Nikki Hill missing the 2 weeks, and the draws, and it was up against both of them tonight. The mile paced by Nikki Hill here, 26, parked for basically the first 3.5 furlongs, never able to clear. She clears through a 54 1/2, so they went a 28 1 second quarter, which is very reasonable for this class of horse. But for her to dig in the way she did, and for Treacherous Dragon, who was the one who was parking her for about 3/16 of a mile, to come back and re-rally and explode between fillies to get the job done, this margin of victory is a head, neck, and then the third filly, Boudoir Hanover, who looked like she was chicken dinner at the 8th pole. That margin of victory, on paper, in reality, it's about a 16th of a mile as far as talent goes.
Yeah.
Because these 2 fillies that ran 1-2 not only roughed each other up, but had a little bit more going against them. And both paced magnificent miles tonight.
How impressive is that from Treacherous Dragon, the fact that she was able to come back between horses? Because for any horse, that could be a compromising position, especially, as you mentioned, the dirty work that she did early on.
I'm going to sound like my colleague, Andy Sterling here. I think you want to, I don't know if you want to necessarily leave from inside, but these outside balcony moves. Look, we saw Bella Bellini do it, but Bella Bellini had a perfect trip, and she was probably best in there, as much as I don't want to say that about Atlanta. These fillies that are inside, these horses that have been racing inside tonight, they just seem to have a little bit of an edge. And, you know, she was able to, once Nikki Hill cleared, she was still along the pylon. She was inside of her, and then she was able to, again, go between. For her to go between, that means Boudoir Hanover had to be in the 3 or 4 path. So she was able to save ground, get out, and burst on through.
Treacherous Dragon with the win. Impressive, very game in the 3-year-old filly pace. We'll bring you prices, reactions, and a whole lot more. The Breeders' Crown continues on America's Day at the Races after this.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. Breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania.
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, special coverage of the Breeders' Crown tonight from Woodbine Mohawk Park. It's been a lot of fun so far, some great performances and some more still to come. In the 3-year-old filly Pace, Treacherous Dragon, the winner. Very game effort, making it 5 in a row, and she closes impressively 950 over Nikki Hill.
Tell you what, Acacia, you know, 2 great performances aside, when you look at the wagering aspect of this night, we've seen a bunch of elimination winners run 1-2. These were the 2 fillies to beat. These exactas, that was a $23 exactor, I think, for the 2 favorites. I know it was in inverted order, but still, box away up at Woodbine Mohawk Park to make yourself some nice money.
That's the way to do it. Pretty wide open board in the 3-year-old Colt Trot coming up next, and King of the North down on the inside. 5-1 currently. You may notice one of the names in the ownership group, and if you watched the last race when this horse won that elim at a big price last time out, you might have noticed the blinkers. Those WWs.
The WWs were,
I love
in
it.
plain
I love
sight.
it. Trainer Wesley Ward joins us here. Wesley, so happy to have you. First of all, Wesley, wanted to ask, King of the North, so fun. How long have you been involved in the harness racing side of things, and how did that come about?
Me.
Oh, he's gone.
Say that one more time.
There
I'm
he
sorry.
is. Hey, Wesley. It's Acacia and Anthony. First of all, how did it come about that you started in the harness racing side of things and owning a horse like King of the North, and how long have you been involved?
Oh, man, we're having some audio difficulties. I'm sorry, guys.
No worries, not your fault. We'll see if we can get that worked out. Wesley Ward joining us here, King of the North. I gotta say, I give him a lot of credit too, because I know my husband is fast asleep already. He's staying up to watch this race coming up. It's past the trainer's bedtime.
Winner's pick was on the back.
Oh, I didn't
Maybe
see
a Golden Pal was in a Royal Ascot. That's like a humble brag, right?
like
Let me
that.
just get this in the shot. All right, guys, I can't hear you right now. All he didn't do was zoom in just now.
That's
Love
it.
Wesley.
That's
know
it.
Wesley a long time. I remember when Wesley was a bug boy
Wow.
here. I want to say he had his bug with Dennis Carr. This is before you. This is when I feel old. This is before you were born. Yeah, Wesley was a good rider.
Yeah.
Good rider. Obviously an excellent trainer. Just an all-around horseman. He's got a loaded hand for the Breeders' Cup next week. He's got to be the only person that can say he's got Breeders' Cup and Breeders' Crown.
Breeders' Cup and
Right?
Breeders' Crown. Let's give it another shot. Wesley Ward joining us. Wesley, can you hear us okay? It's Acacia and Anthony.
Yeah, a little better now.
Okay, great. Glad to have you. King of the North, as we're saying, you have a lot of chances for the Breeders' Cup next week. You also have a chance for the Breeders' Crown today. How did that involvement start in owning a horse in harness racing?
Well, about over a decade ago, I was introduced to Dave Reed and to Frank Antonacci, Lindy Farms there. And in fact, I got my shirt on here, my preferred equine shirt on for Dave. But and anyways, I had a filly that I owned, Judy the Beauty, and Ray Schnitker had this guy's mom here, and so we were, kind of going back and forth, and through the years, I was always asking what his mare was producing, and I'd asked, and he was in the sale. I asked if I could kind of team up with him and maybe take part ownership in this guy. And lo and behold, it's just luck. Here we go.
Wesley, it's Anthony here. Obviously, a ton of success in the thoroughbred game, and I remember when you were a bug boy here at the Big A and winning all these races now as a trainer all over the world. What was that excitement like last week to win a race? You got a loaded hand, obviously, next weekend for the Breeders' Cup, and now you have a real Breeders' Crown contender on your hands. A little bit of a different scenario when you're not hands-on with these horses every day?
Well, I just kind of sit back and learning. It's learning as we go with this game, and it's really exciting, especially with a horse like this, and to watch him to run and to actually have a 2-year-old champion, one of the first ones I've ever got in on. It's a great experience.
King of the North, one thing we know that's consistent too, had that early speed last time out that a lot of Wesley Ward runners do. And Wesley, you have a very, very fast horse waiting in the wings next week for the Breeders' Cup. Golden Powell looking to pick up his 3rd Breeders' Cup win. How's he doing? What have you seen from him off the back of that Woodford win last out?
He's doing great. You know, I mean, he's everything that would you want to come into a big race. He got through this last workout, and this afternoon we jogged him up. He's perfectly sound, and you know, when you have these fast horses like this, that's what you always have to contend with, is soundness issues. And so, I mean, I couldn't be happier going into the next few days. It's just, you know, we're on cruise control now until we get there and get him in the gate. And anything can happen in a horse race, as I seen with him when we went over to Royal Ascot this year. So I'm just hoping that that everything goes well, and he really shows what he can do, as he has throughout his whole career.
He's such a special horse. Best of luck next week in the Breeders' Cup, Wesley, and best of luck tonight in the Breeders' Crown. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Keisha. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Wesley. Wesley Ward, terrific, one of the best thoroughbred trainers and an owner with King of the North, looking to go for the old Breeders' Crown, Breeders' Cup double. I love it.
Yeah, he gets to sit back and relax here, right? Used to riding and training and being hands-on with everything, and now he just gets to sit back, and it's in Ray Schnicker and Mark McDonald's hands tonight.
Yep. Well, Wesley Ward, as he mentioned, Golden Powell, winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint last time out against Older, and he'll look for his 3rd Breeders' Cup win next week. Here's a look at the Breeders' Cup Friday schedule. Wesley has a big chance in the Juvenile Turf Sprint with the filly Love Reigns, who we saw win the Bolton Landing Future Stars Friday. That's the schedule for Breeders' Cup coming up in just a few days now, under a week.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Really, really strange to, it's right around the corner, and looking forward, we'll have a ton of coverage throughout the week on America's Day at the Races, talking about all those races, early post times, as you can see there. Yeah, and then the big day on Saturday, Championship Saturday. We'll end things with the Classic, the Filly and Mare Sprint. They'll kick things off early enough in the day, 11:50 before noon, and yeah, looking forward to a lot of action over the course of those 2 days down in Keeneland.
Golden Powell looking to defend his title in the Turf Sprint, and of course, rounding out the day with Flightline, Life is Good, and the rest of the Classic cast ready to duke it out in that Breeders' Cup Classic. So fun getting a chance to have Wesley Ward on the show. We'll talk more about his horse in a moment, but back over to Charlestown. 7 furlongs is the trip for the 5th race. This is Fillies and Mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of a race since April 29th, 2022. So a dated claiming race coming up here. She figures.
2 in a row. Looking for a 3rd win, 2nd off the Kevin Joy claim. Talked about Kevin a little bit last night. Wins at 20% at the meet throughout the year. Barn just does a good job year in and year out. This mare, she hasn't even put forth her best figs as of late, and she's still getting the job done. That makes her very dangerous, because one of her back races, she has a number of back races that would really, really do a number on this field. I thought the 5 Map Them Up, I thought she'd be a little bit of a better price than this. First off the claim. That was her first start at Charlestown last time. I would have used her at a better price, but she's too short of a price at 3-1.
I remember seeing her quite a bit down at Gulfstream, and Timmy Hills had her filly that was going 2 turns on the turf. She'll go 2 turns on the dirt today. The 7 furlongs at Charlestown, race 5. Coming up next, here's Paul Espinosa Jr.
There in the gate. And they're off. Ms. Big Spring heading out to the front. You know I Be Lion moves up to challenge, and from the outside, Tiz Michelle's Way is put on the early lead now. Tiz Michelle's Way goes up to take it by 3 parts of a length. Ms. Big Spring is wrangled back off the speed now. Back in 2nd, and You Know I Be Lion is 3rd. Then comes Devilish Beauty with those blinkers on in 4th. You Map 'em Up is running along in 5th. It's another gap of 5 to She Figures, who's joined outside by Seeds of Time. Then it's Life and Flash, And at the back is Miss Hart. A very strung out field. 15 lengths would cover them with a half mile left to run. Opening quarter in 23-3. Tiz Michelle's Way by 3 parts of length from You Know I Be Lion and a 3-wide Devilish Beauty. Ms. Big Spring is now back in fourth, and another 4-length gap back to Seeds of Time. Then comes Map 'em Up, followed by She Figures, who tries to start her rally now on the outside. Life in Flash is next, and the trailer is Miss Hart. They race for the far turn. And it Tiz Michelle's Way in front from the start, now by a length, as You Know I Be Lion is back in second, and then comes Devilish Beauty in third. On the outside, Seeds of Time is fourth. She Figures is guided down to the inside to put in her bid. She's beginning to close in, but still has 5 lengths to make up on Tiz Michelle's Way, who turns for home on top. Tiz Michelle's Way is in front by 3 from You Know I Be Lion. She Figures trying to rally on at the fence with Seeds of Time inside the final 100 yards, and Tiz Michelle's Way has it won. Tiz Michelle's Way by 3 parts of a length over Seeds of Time. Then came You Know I Be Lion, and She Figures checks in fourth. Final time 1:29.4.
Tiz Michelle's Way with the bit of the upset in the 5th at Charlestown. Your favorite, She Figures, no better than 4th. Back over to Woodbine Mohawk Park. We have the 3-year-old Colt Trot coming up next. But in the last race, it was Treacherous Dragon in the 3-year-old filly pace. Nancy Tactor, the trainer of Treacherous Dragon, standing by with Jessica.
Standing by with winning trainer Nancy Tactor. Treacherous Dragon takes a 3-year-old filly pace Breeders' Crown final. Been a little bit of a frustrating season for her. Talk us through the last, 2 or 3 months of her season.
She came for me, just the day after winning the Fan Hanover, and I didn't really have a lot of information on her, so it's kind of hard, when you kind of get a horse, especially a horse at her caliber, and you're kind of like trying to figure out, what she likes and what she doesn't like. And every barn's a different environment, it's different feed, different programs, different, training methods and everything. So it took her a little bit of time to kind of settle in, and it took time for us to kind of get to know her too. But finally we've kind of got her where she's really thriving on our program, and I couldn't be happier for her today. She's just a super special filly.
Speaking of thriving, you added Lasix a couple of starts back. She was super in the Jugette elimination and the Jugette final. She missed the time in Lexington because she can't race on Lasix down there. She qualified really well here last week. You had to be confident coming into tonight.
Yeah, I was actually super confident. I was surprised that none of the experts picked her, so I'm going to take that up with them later. No, but, she adding Lasix, she just didn't seem to finish well, so we decided to put her on Lasix, speaking to my veterinarian and everything, and, obviously that was the right move. She hasn't lost on Lasix, so it hasn't definitely hurt her. So I think just the addition of that, and also just getting kind of more into the program and everything, has helped her.
Talk me through the race in your perspective. She was stung out of the gate there pretty well. Then, Scotty made Dexter work there a little bit, and she was able to weave through traffic at the end. Such a performance put up by her tonight.
Yeah, it was a huge performance. She's actually, usually pretty lazy, so I was surprised that she came out of the gate as good as she did and 26 flat on top of it. But, when she kind of got to the front and I saw, Nikki Hill had to work really hard the first half, so that definitely worked to our advantage. I was just hoping that Nikki Hill wasn't going to get tired and back into us. So, and, Scott had a little trouble finding room down the stretch, and I saw Queen of Success coming, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll get second. And then she got room, and I know she loves to pass horses. She's super honest, and, if she has the opportunity to pass them, she will.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
You have to love that enthusiasm you hear in Nancy Tactor's voice, the excitement, the joy. That's what it's all about, Anthony.
Yeah, and having taken this horse's training over, it's even more rewarding to know that you can cross the T's and dot the I's and put your little mark on them to get them as good as she's gotten this filly.
She's done a terrific job with her, that's for sure. We turn the page, we get ready for the 3-year-old Colt Trot, the Breeders' Crown final. There's King of the North. Those WW blinkers, well familiar in the thoroughbred world. We'll see them in the spotlight in the 3-year-old Colt Trot after this.
The world's greatest harness racing returns to Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment on Friday, November 4th. Live racing kicks off at 6:20 p.m. on Friday and Saturday night. Admission and parking are free. We have a full calendar of events and great dining, so visit playmeadowlands.com for all the info. The track is also open for simulcasting 7 days a week. Plus, check out our FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can legally watch and wager on all sports action. Visit playmeadowlands.com for details. Must be 21 or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The gates fly. From the beautiful Niagara Escarpment in Campbellville, Ontario, Woodbine Mohawk Park. Home to the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic. The Mohawk Million on Canada's richest night of racing. And returning this fall, the Breeders' Crown Championships.
A wild finish wins the Breeders' Crown.
Woodbine Mohawk Park. Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. You gotta play here.
Raj Farm, one of the leading breeders of trotting talent in North America. The farm that sold Slip Sliding Away this year in Lexington for $510,000 and has produced millionaires like Ferner, Muscles Marinara, Whiskey Tax, and Dewey Color in the Line, as well as great fillies like Barn Doll, Jezzy, and Beautiful Sen. The Alaraj Farm trotting tradition continuing at a track near you.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get started at NairaBets.com today. The Breeders' Crown Final 3-year-old Colt Trot coming up next. There's a look at Fast as the Wind. And this is an intriguing race here, Anthony. I think a very difficult one, branded by Lindy, currently 5-2 on the board, as we saw Lindy Farms with a second earlier on, looking for the win here.
Yeah, this was another one of these crapshoots on the card.
This is a tough race.
As you can see, the public doesn't know what to do here. 5-2. We haven't seen too many 5-2 favorites tonight. Everything's been
2 to
blank
5.
to 5,
Yeah.
blank to 5, and then now it's blank to 2, and it's not a 1 in front of the 2. So, branded by Lindy. I think the inside 5 runners can win here. Cool Papa Bell from that 9 draw. I don't know. I kind of feel like he's tailed a little bit off form the last couple of starts, and I would try and stay inside in here. I picked the number 1 King of the North, but I think any one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 could get the job done.
Well, let's check in with Jessica. This trackside report is sponsored by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. Jessica, a wide open race coming up next for the 3-year-old trotters.
It really is a wide open race. Of course, last week in the eliminations, neither one of the favorites won the eliminations, and one of the eliminations, the favorite going in there, didn't even make the final. Of course, you guys talked to Wesley Ward earlier on in the night. King of the North, he co-owns part of this guy, and I know they had high hopes for this guy coming into the season, and it's been just a little bit of a rough season for him. He notched that first win of the season last week, going gate to wire from post 9, like we've mentioned and talked about before with post 9 with the slanted gate. It's a little easier for the horses to step on out of there, out on the right foot. So really interesting to see. He'll move to the inside of the gate tonight. Again, we've mentioned this. It can be a little tricky to get these horses out of the gate on the right foot from the rail. I know Mark McDonald said in a post-race interview he almost lost him last week when he kind of gathered him up last minute and just sent him on out of there rather than taking him off of the gate. So interesting to see what he will do with him tonight, because that's the first time in quite some time we've seen him with some gate speed. The 3 Slay was in the other division, or the other elimination, and Tony Lania was just on talking here in-house, and he said it before, if the horse doesn't have to do much early, he loves to track down horses. He's had a lot of success here at Woodbine at Mohawk Park over the last year or so. He was the Canadian trot winner, coming up the inside, recovering from a break early in the stretch to get up and win and get that title. And he was okay down in Lexington, Kentucky. He ran into a little bit of traffic trouble. He was outside, inside, but he still finished up the mile well, came back with a second place finish here. He'll get to draw post 3. So a nice inside post to work with. The other elimination winner was Double Deceiver. If you go back 2 starts in that Kentucky Futurity, he finished 7th by 3 lengths. This is a race that you have to go back and watch the replay because he had absolutely nowhere to go, begging for racing room, and was able to get it at the very last second and trotted strongly after the wire when he was able to get a little bit of room. So very interesting to see. There's a little bit of gate speed to the inside. There's a little bit of gate speed to the outside. Of course, Cool Papa Bell, the Hambletonian upset winner. He'll start from post 9. That wasn't Todd's intentions last week. With the way the race unfolded, there were too many levers to his inside, and of course King of the North to his outside, so he had to take off of the gate. He was 13 off at the quarter. He still trotted home strong, 26-3, to only get beat by 3.5 lengths. And I think it's worth mentioning the tenon here at 63-1 if you're betting exotics or anything. This horse had definitely turned the corner a couple of starts back with a win in Kentucky, with the Kentucky Futurity eligible, and then last week he made a big first over move, clear to the front, and then finished 3rd a little bit, but he was used early, and I like to see that he was able to get out of the gate well. Then he came first over, so he tired a little bit at the end, but if you look down on the program page, he is definitely good at tracking horses and tracking them down at good speed as well, and he'll start from post 10 for Annette Lorenzen and Tony Hall. It is a wide open field in here. The slight favorite at 5-2 is the 5 right now, Branded by Lindy. So you really could go any which way in here. Of course, King of the North with that Wesley Ward connection. And this is another division where I think it comes down to the Breeders' Crown and year-end honors for the 2022 season.
All right, Jessica, thank you. There is King of the North. Showed that early speed that we're used to seeing from Wesley Ward runners. Last time out, Branded by Lindy was 2nd that day, and King of the North was a big upset in a 28-1 shocker in the Elim last time out. Branded by Lindy, currently your tepid favorite. You think that he has the opportunity to turn the tables tonight, Anthony?
Yeah, he sure can. You see him tipping off cover here, and he's going to try and run down King of the North, who just built up too big of a lead. This was a fantastic drive by Mark McDonald, just getting that separation from the 9-hole, left out of there, left strongly out of there. You see him he's imploring King of the North for several more yards, and the wire is going to become his best friend for about 3 seconds, just holding off Branded by Lindy. I think the public has the right favorite in here, but again, probably the most wide open race on the card.
This is a tough one. Both you and Jessica going against the current favorite, 5-2, Branded by Lindy. Anybody's game here. It's the Breeders' Crown Final. 3-year-old Colt Trot. They're lining up. Let's go to Ken Middleton for the call.
Compared to 8 for 11 last year. 3-1 right now on Cool Papa Bell, the Hambletonian upset champ. 4-1 on the 4 Double Deceiver, an elimination winner a week ago. Even 9-2 on both the 1 King of the North and number 3 Slay. As wide open as it gets, it's the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old Colt Trot next. And they're off. And Cool Papa Bell gets activated at the gate tonight as McCarthy springs him loose from the far outside. Keg Stand is the one who had the break getting out of there. World at War Dale flashing early speed 2 down the center here for Tetrick. Pushing from the rail goes King of the North. Fast as the wind takes back into 4th now. 5th in the center is Branded by Lindy floating into that turn. Slay is down to the rail committed 6th. 7th inside to Double Deceiver off the speed back in 8th. Twin B Archie. Further back we go to find Golden Wall from in 9th. Golden Wall AS is 9th at a quarter of 26 2/5 seconds, and they move into the backstretch. And King of the North is on top here, leading by 2. Second to the inside is World at War Deo. Cool Papa Bell is situated 3rd inside, back to the rail from in 4th as fast as the wind. Tough trip here for Branded by Lindy, as he is 5th outside. Just might catch Cool Papa Bell, though, to come first over as the field nears the midway point. Tipped out comes Slay. Scooting up the inside is Golden Wall AS, then Double Deceiver, and further back Twin B Archie. Archie. Halftime 54-3, and they race into the far turn. King of the North has got his accelerator stuck going into the far turn with 3/8 to go. Pressure comes now from Cool Papa Bell, who's 2 lengths away. Back into third at the inside is a fully extended World Eduardo. Then on cover, branded by Lindy. King of the North is going for it all right now, and he's got 5 at 3/4 in 1:22.1. Spinning for home, and it's King of the North now coming into the stretch, and he's all by himself. Down the center, Cool Papa Bell. Slay on the outside. Double Deceiver 6 wide and driving late for Miller. 1/8 of a mile of racetrack to go. Still they're on that lead. It's King of the North, and King of the North is clear by 6 lengths. King of the North has clobbered them in the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old colt trot again. Here's King of the North. King of the North, some kind of a mile. 1:50-3. That's a stakes, track, and Canadian record performance.
A record performance from King of the North, Wesley Ward. Congratulations. Maybe this horse won by just a slim margin last time out at a big price. He backs up that effort with a huge victory today, Anthony.
Another aggressive drive by Mark McDonald. He sprung the latch on the quarter poles, I like to say. He said, come on and get me, boys. And talk about an insurmountable lead. This horse, he has turned in to an absolute monster
Peaking
north
at
of the
the
border.
right time.
I'll tell you what, he's living up to his name. He is the King of the North right now. Jon Snow has nothing on his equine namesake.
This is coming from a huge Game of Thrones fan
It
sitting
is.
to my left. As King of the North wires the field in those recognizable blinkers. Big congratulations to the ownership group. I know a lot of people involved with this horse, a 2-year-old champion, and now coming back as a 3-year-old, peaking at the right time. A 28-1 shocker last time out. He was the convincing winner tonight. King of the North, dominant, really impressive. Never in doubt.
4-1, 9-2 when all
Yeah,
is said
I
and
think
done.
so. 5-1 he went off
5-1.
at.
See Mark McDonald take a peek back. Hopefully you played our selections. Jessica and I were 1-2 here.
Well done.
King of the North and Double
Nice
Deceiver. That'll
picks
be a good
there.
exacta. It was a wide open race that, and I think it's even more impressive, his performance, King of the North, because everybody seemed to be on board with one thing. This was a wide open race. He crushed them.
Little fist bump from Mark McDonald. You love that celebration. Big effort from King of the North into the 3-year-old colt trot. So cool to see. We'll continue our Breeders' Cup conversation when we come back. The distaff this year, it's absolutely loaded. And 2 of them come from the same barn, Malathot, Nest. They'll go head-to-head with some other top fillies waiting in the wings. A little bit more about the girls after this.
The world's greatest harness racing returns to Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment on Friday, November 4th. Live racing kicks off at 6:20 p.m. on Friday and Saturday night. Admission and parking are free. We have a full calendar of events and great dining, so visit playmeadowlands.com for all the info. The track is also open for simulcasting 7 days a week. Plus, check out our FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can legally watch and wager on all sports action. Visit playmeadowlands.com for details. Must be 21 or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Special coverage tonight up the Breeders' Crown. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to have some more fun in a moment. You'll see what I'm talking about. But in the winner's circle, all smiles. King of the North, Wesley Ward's Blinker is in the winner's circle. He'll be looking for the Breeders' Crown Breeders' Cup double next week. A $12.90 winner, King of the North dominant, wiring the field in this effort.
Look at that exacta.
Yeah.
A dime shy of 80 bucks. Hope you are playing along over at Naira Bets. Nice trifecta as well. Almost $200 for $1.
Here's the field for the 7th. The Breeders' Crown final, 3-year-old colt Pace. And currently 2-5 By the Missile, a horse that's just been absolutely sensational lately.
Yeah, By the Missile, Pebble Beach, 2-5 on By the Missile, opened up short. But I tell you what, Acacia, I'd love to be driving one of those two tonight. It would be a whole lot of fun. I would love to be driving one of them tonight.
So,
how's the form any good?
Anthony has driven
any good?
before.
Right, you got to have your hands up.
He's been throwing this crop around the desk the whole time I was talking there, too. If you notice me laughing, it's because I was distracted.
I'd be distracted by this, too. So, when I was at the New York Post days, 20 years ago back, by John Brennan silks, by the way.
Yeah.
The black and gold. Though I didn't have a helmet because I have a size 8 head. I used to borrow Claude Huckabone III's helmet whenever I drove in the media races. And it was red, white. It was red, white. I never won one. Thanks for bringing that up, by the way. I never won one. I did finish second. I finished second on a filly named Sable's Show Off one week. Cool. And we drove the media races on Sundays. She raced on Wednesdays. So I asked her trainer, I said, what's her real name? We never had the real name. She said, this is Sable Show Off. I was like, oh, I remember her. It was at Monticello. And he said, I said, what day does she race? He said, Wednesdays. And he gave me an up and down. And he goes, but not this Wednesday. She just pulled me around there at 440 pounds at the time. We finished second. She ran back the following Wednesday and paid $27. And wow. I got nice and fat at the OTB on 47th and 6th in Manhattan. I had a very good day.
You gave her the assist.
I was screaming Stabile. She won by like 3 lengths, screaming Stabile off through the lane. It was very good. Stabile off through the lane. I had my Sports Eye, which is the harness equivalent of the racing form. I had that. I was putting that on top of her helmet. It's okay. I'm not going to hit you when I'm a professional. I know how to use. They didn't let us have these. They didn't let us have these in the media races.
We
weren't allowed to have
fun
these.
With this.
Yes, my stick. I got this at Saratoga Harness 3 summers ago, I believe. Because one of the traditions, if you're out there and you've watched harness races in life, and you've either been a kid, or you've taken your kids, one of the greatest traditions at harness racetracks is to go to the winner's circle and ask the drivers for the whip. Because especially by the end of the night, they get a little flimsy. And you ask for the whip. I had to have gotten 100 whips in my life. My folks took me to run. My parents, I told the story, they used to sneak me into Roosevelt when I was 3 years old because my mom was young and I looked like her brother, not her son. They would sneak me in. You had to be 6 years old, so they would sneak me in. Sonny Patterson, Mike LaChance, my favorite driver of all time, Mike LaChance. This could be Chris Long's whip, who's a driver up at Saratoga Harness, if I'm not mistaken. Could be his. I'm not 100% sure.
What was the feeling like driving? Being behind one of those incredible athletes.
Until I called a horse race, which was my lifelong dream. Until I called the race, it was the greatest adrenaline rush of all time. Being in the booth is the greatest adrenaline rush. That's why it's so much fun earlier tonight, calling the trot. Until that point, calling horse races here at Aqueduct, being behind harness horses, there's just a rush that you cannot. Yeah. If you have a chance to do it, get behind one. It's a lot of fun. We'll go over to Saratoga Harness.
I would like that.
I would never. If I was 110 pounds, I wouldn't get on top of a thoroughbred. But I have no problem getting behind a harness horse.
I have no problem getting on top of a thoroughbred. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for the costume change there. Anthony's got his Halloween costume ready to roll too.
Send the candy immediately.
Turning the page and going back over to Charlestown. He's leaving the silks on, by the way. He hasn't even, tried to change or any of that. And the riding crop is staying as well. Race 6 from Charlestown, even money right now on Drink with the Stars. 4.5 furlongs in this West Virginia bred allowance for non-winners of 3. This is 3-year-olds Drink with the Stars. I like this name.
Burned an awful lot of money in his last 2, hasn't he? Acacia?
Probably because everybody else likes the name too.
Ooh. I'll tell you what. I didn't get a chance to see the post parade. This horse raced without front bandages first 2 times, and he won both starts. He added the fronts in his next 2, but he did race over 2 wet tracks. So it does not surprise me that his trainer decided to add the blinkers. Ronnie Brown, who wins an awful lot of races up at Charlestown. With that said, if they're still on tonight on a track that's dry as a bone, I can't tell from here. That would be I don't think that would be a good sign.
It doesn't look it because it looks like
he looked clean up front, right?
He looked clean up front, yeah. To my eye, I mean, if they have the white ones, it's easier to tell.
Mm-hmm.
They have dark wraps and he's a bay, then it's tough. But even money on Drink with the Stars right now. Next to him, Manhattan Weave went through his non-winners of 2 condition last time out, stepping up to the next level today. He's 9-2.
The 5 Hopping Henry, I thought was a little interesting. Getting back to a fast track. He showed a lot more speed on fast ground than he did on wet track, so we'll see if he tries to speed pop him tonight, though that might be a tough task with Drink with the Stars in the gate, 2 stalls to his left.
Loading in for the 6 at Charlestown. Let's go to Paul Espinosa Jr. standing by with the call.
Manhattan Weave. Hopping Henry. Amidships. Last one in will be Remy's Gunsmoke. Goes in. There in the gate. Few runners a little bit edgy in the gate here, trying to get them squared away. Hopping Henry acting up in post 5. Looks like Hopping Henry's leaning on the right side of the stall. Now Drink with the Stars, getting a little restless. Still working on getting Hopping Henry squared away. Certainly a horse who a little bit quirky. Freddie Beltroche off of Hopping Henry momentarily. Listen starter hops down. Looks like they might try to back him out slightly and get him to move back in. All the other runners pretty well behaved at this point. Hopping Henry moves back into line. Looks like we're ready for a start. And they're off. A little bit of a bobble at the start for Manhattan Weave. Good beginning outside for Amidships, and there goes Drink with the Stars, and Manhattan Weave comes away in 3rd with Remy's Gunsmoke in 4th. Then comes the gray Hopping Henry. The back 2 are Forever Takes Time and Warriors Estate. Amidships trying to cross and clear in front of Drink with the Stars, and he'll do so, opening up by 2. Drink with the Stars ridden along from 2nd. Manhattan Weave back in 3rd. Hopping Henry 4th down at the rail with Remy's Gunsmoke. 22 seconds flat for the first quarter. Then Warriors Estate and Forever takes time. They whip into the far turn, led by Amidships. He's in front by 3. Drink with the Stars is giving chase from second. Manhattan Weave is in third. Then Hopping Henry down to the rail fourth, followed by Remy's Gunsmoke inside the final furlong. And Amidships is still in front. Now clear by 3.5. Amidships, Manhattan Weave rallies into second, but no getting to Amidships. A gate to wire winner by 2 over Manhattan Weave. Then came Drink with the Stars and Hopping Henry in 52 and 3.
6th race at Charlestown in the books. We get right back over to Woodbine Mohawk Park. And in the winner's circle, there is King of the North. Impressive winner going wire to wire. This one in the winner's circle. Mark McDonald, the driver. Very cool seeing all the Pats there, all the people in the winner's circle. Let's go back to Jessica Otten for more.
King of the North captures a 3-year-old colt and gelding trot Breeders' Crown Final. Stakes, track, and Canadian record for this guy. Let's go back to last week from Post 9, gate to wire with him. He kind of took the betting public by surprise, but I know you and the Connections have had confidence in this colt all year long.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was kind of sitting on a big race. I think he bled just a little bit in Kentucky because there's no Lasix down there. So going back on Lasix, I mean, we thought he'd race big. Obviously, we didn't know he'd win or anything like that. You know, we were hoping he would, but he hadn't won a race all year. But, yeah, this horse was a Dan Patch champion, and he was undefeated coming up into Canada last year and raced some of his best races here. So we liked him. We thought he had a, you know, I honestly thought the horse could win. You know, I guess that's a good thing in a driver to be confident, and I thought he could win again tonight.
Let's talk about when the draw came out. Winning horses drew 1 through 5. Some may argue the rail on this track might not be the best spot to be. What were your thoughts when the draw came out?
Well, Yannick Gingras told me first, and I thought he was kidding because it's the worst spot on the gate. You know, I honestly think 10 might be better, but maybe not. If your horse is handy, but my guy hasn't been super handy, and just a shout out to Benny Wallace. He's a Hall of Fame trainer. He's had the horse up here for Ray for 10 days because we didn't want to ship him back and forth. And I think Benny acclimated the horse great and did a great job. And I think he deserves a big shout out and a lot of credit. And I didn't do it in the original interview, but he deserves a huge shout out. I also want to give a shout out to my buddy Wally Hennessy, who texted me before the race. And his sister had passed away. And hey, Pete Islanders, we stick together. I'm thinking about you.
Track, stakes, and Canadian record. Just talk about what the performance was like tonight. You obviously got your separation on the field. It's just a strong performance from this colt.
Tremendous, right? I mean, what else can you say? I mean, I was expecting to try and bring Cool Papa Bell, the Hembo winner, to my bridle in the last turn, and my horse just felt so good. I was like, you know what? It's let's just kick the plugs out and keep going forward. And I had confidence after last week the way he finished. And Benny said he had a great week, and I warmed him up myself tonight. He warmed up great, and Ray's here, and you know, we're just really proud of the horse.
Nice job. Go enjoy it.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. Mark McDonald with King of the North wiring the field in the 3-year-old colt trot. We get ready for the 3-year-old colt Pace Breeders' Crown Final coming up next. By the Missile versus Pebble Beach. I'm excited for this matchup, Anthony.
Yeah, should be a good one. By the Missile looking for 6 in a row. Pebble Beach is ahead in the next shy of 3 in a row.
They're on the track for the 7th. Let's go back to Jessica for some trackside analysis.
The 3-year-old colt and gelding Pacers are on the track, of course. One of the more anticipated races coming on tonight. Pebble Beach and By the Missile face off again. Those were your elimination winners last week. Pebble Beach is undefeated on Canadian soil. Of course, he won the $1 million North America Cup earlier on this season here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. By the Missile won the Adios at the Meadows and then came back and won the Jug Final in Delaware, Ohio. A horse that had 1 start and 1 win on his season last year. His first start of the year this year was in a non-winners of 2 stakes race, and he comes on to compete against Ohio's higher stake horses, and he goes on and faces stakes racing horses. Of course, now he's in the Breeders' Crown. It's just a ride that this horse has been taking. The Connections on. Eric Good co-owns this horse with Rhea Buscemi, Ronnie Burke's usual main owners, and he's just been a tremendous horse all season long. You talk to the Connections, and he's a very versatile horse. He's very handy on the racetrack. He can leave the gate well. He can come from off of the pace. His program lines show just that, and he's just been very consistent coming into the race. He's 12 of 14 on the season with 2 second-place finishes. finishes, a second place finish in the Hempt Pocono Downs back in August, where he was parked to the quarter in 25-2, then pulled during a third quarter of 26 and change, and still held on for second by just a half a length to the Meadowlands pace winner who we saw earlier this year, Beach Glass. Pebble Beach will start from post 5 for Noel Daly. Like I had mentioned, he's undefeated on Canadian soil. He's 7 of 14 this season. He had just been lacking a little bit there in Lexington, Kentucky. We heard Mark McDonald talk about adding Lasix to King of the North. They added Lasix to this guy last week in his Breeders' Crown elimination, 26-3 home, 48-3 mile, back-to-back wins. And it just shows you how much Lasix can improve the horse at the end of the mile. He was coming off of second. So it just goes to show what that Lasix does for these horses when they put up these big miles week in and week out. The 6 I Did It My Way out of the Tony Alanya barn. He was a horse that was beating Pebble Beach down in Lexington, Kentucky week after week. He finished third in the Tattersall Space. He came back last week, sat on By the Missile's back. Couldn't get by him, but he definitely gave a little urging to By the Missile to keep on going forward. He's paced home strongly. He finished up the mile well. Tony Alanya has plenty of confidence in his colt. And a horse worth mentioning in here is the 8 at 8-1 Ponda Warrior. This is his third 8-hole in a row. I know trainer Jay Hochstetler was talking about that at the post draw. He said, well, I'm used to it by now, but if you look at this horse's lines, he had post 8 in his Indiana Super Final, 2 starts back, and Dexter Dunn put a picture-perfect drive on him, 149-2. And a little shout-out to Jay. His best friend is getting married in South Carolina, I believe. He's there being his best man. This is his Breeders' Crown debut, and such an accomplishment at such a young age. He come up to Mohawk last week. He had post 8. He didn't get out of the gate as well as they had hoped. He got away 13 off of the lead at the quarter, and he finished up the mile with a 26 kicker. Scotty Z was confident in his colt after that race, and coming into this race, of course, he'll have post 8 again. It's a jam-packed field of 10 here for the 3-year-old Colton Gelding Pacers. It's going to be an exciting one, and I think the Canadian track and stakes record could be on the line here. There's a lot of speed. I think I'm going to go with the 2 By the Missile, the favorite at 4-5. Who do you guys like in the 3-year-old Glamour Boy division?
It's a tough one, Jessica. Thank you. Number 2, By the Missile, 4-5. Number 5, Pebble Beach, 8-5. Which one do you prefer, Anthony?
I prefer By the Missile. I'm a little surprised that this close in price occasion. I thought By the Missile would take a ton of money, though Pebble Beach went a quicker elimination last week. I like By the Missile, though. He's just been so consistent. 5 in a row. Gelded son of Down by the Seaside. Chris Page for Ronnie Burke. How about the prices he's gone off? 1-5, 1-20, 1-10, 2-5, 1-20, 3. He was 3-5 last time. He was an overlay when he won his elimination at 3-5, 75 cents to the dollar. So he's just been so good and so consistent. Pebble Beach has plenty of consistency too, but you see the second place finishes really pile up on him. And when all said and done, especially at this caliber, give me the horse that's winning more races.
Yeah. Pebble Beach, we see him coming in that elim last week, winning over Birthday, who will leave from the rail today. Pebble Beach versus By the Missile, though, a nice matchup. Pebble Beach has won his last 2. By the Missile, though, has won his last 5. And By the Missile, I thought it was pretty cool, too. He was the first Ohio-bred winner of the Jug since 1988.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
Long time, yeah. That's cool cool to see. Yeah, he's just so good. I mean, he's hard to get by him. And you hate to take the short price, but this was one of the races where I didn't see too much going on.
He's been really fun to follow, been so consistent. Can he do it again? It's the 3-year-old Colt Pace. Here's Ken Middleton.
Got a group of 10. It's the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old Colt Pace on deck. They're often pacing. Greatest Ending launching out of there. Ponda Warrior's going to leave out 2. Coming out in the center, there's Pebble Beach and Captain Cowboy surging 2. Ponda Warrior accelerates right to the front from post 8. Greatest Ending on the outside, leaving hard as Gingras looks for that pocket drop. Inside third to Pebble Beach. Dropped over fourth is Captain Cowboy. Then inside, I Did It My Way. Towards the rail is Birthday. Further back we go to By the Missile. In at the rail, Dream Fair. Arnie B. Forever Boy rides parked out 9th. Trailing 10th is Mad Max Hanover. over. Zeron cut a quarter in 25-4, a vicious first split. Pond Warrior on top leads the way. In the pocket spot, Greatest Ending. Pebble Beach on the outside, lurking third, now second, and coming on to challenge. In at the rail, it's Captain Cowboy fourth. I Did It My Way pops out first up now from fifth. Climbing on his covers, Birthday sixth. Seventh through at the rail, that is Dream Fair. Arnie B by the Missile is back there from an eighth. Halftime 54-1. The tempo was hot going into the far turn, and it's Pebble Beach up front, leading the way a length and a half. Back into second is Pond Warrior. First over is I Did It My Way from in third. Greatest Ending fourth with cover. Fifth is Birthday. Sixth inside to Captain Cowboy. Seventh and up on the move comes By the Missile. He's still 6 off the lead as they go to three quarters. Pebble Beach trying to get separation in the field, and he's got 3 on pocket sitter Pond Warrior. I Did It My Way not doing enough first over. Three quarters in 1:21-2, and into the stretch, and it's Pebble Beach on top, the lead 4 lengths. Fully extended Pond Warrior. I Did It My Way from in third. By the Missile from the backfields, not tonight. They're in deep stretch, and it's all Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach bounds away to a 6-length lead in deep stretch, and Pebble Beach has destroyed this field. Pebble Beach to win by 4. Up for second was I Did It My Way, By the Missile, and Greatest Ending, and a mile of 1:48-1, and he just missed the stakes record, did Pebble Beach, in winning his Breeders' Crown.
Pebble Beach taking the Breeders' Crown. 3-year-old colt Pace, much the best today, too. And By the Missile will have to settle for a distant third.
It's rare to see these big margins of victory on a night like this. And now we've seen back-to-back races from the 3-year-olds, one in the trots, one in the pacers, and just blowing the doors off the field. This horse was giant tonight, Pebble Beach. He was faster in his elimination last week. 4/5 of a second faster, but you still felt like By the Missile just had a little bit more consistency. Boy, he just took the fight to the entire field tonight, Pebble Beach did, and if it was a fight, they'd have stopped it at around the quarter pole.
Impressive win from Pebble Beach. He just kept going and just left with too much to do for By the Missile, who, again, on the outside there, closing late. I Did It My Way was the one that held on for second, though. But Pebble Beach in control, dominant. Todd McCarthy, the driver. Pebble Beach picking up another victory here. And it was kind of the other big name in this race. You didn't have to box the exacta in this race, though, unfortunately. Hopefully, you played some tries.
I mean, hopefully you were able to get a little bit of a price in the middle there and still find a way to cash. The two favorites get split by one of the other logicals. I Did It My Way with an excellent mile from Pebble Beach tonight.
Pebble Beach with the win. Impressive in the 3-year-old colt Pace. Still a lot of Breeders' Crown action to coming up, including Bulldog Hanover. And in case anybody's wondering, Anthony is still wearing the driver's silks. He has not taken them off. And the whip is still here, too. Yeah. This is what I'm dealing with in any case.
I may have to go trick-or-treating one day. Just like
you
this.
should. And
just like that. Instead of ringing the doorbells, I just want to like knock on the door with the stick.
But let me have that for a minute.
Sure.
He does all his analysis like this. Well, I think that the 2 horse is going to go to the front, and if they're doing this, and it's going on the whole show.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I told you I'm a professional. We didn't get to use these in the race. I'm frustrated with it. I'm a frustrated driver.
No.
Like I'm a frustrated jockey. A little overweight for that profession, though.
Todd McCarthy, the driver of Pebble Beach, much the best in the 3-year-old colt Pace. It's time for the Open Trot and Pace finals coming up after this on America's Day at the Races.
As the most trusted sales agency for over 25 years, Preferred Equine has been the leading consignor at all the live, in-person, yearling, and mixed sales throughout North America, representing clients from around the globe. And with the recent launch of Preferred Equine Online, they offer the newest and up-to-date technology in online digital sales. Visit preferredequine.com or give them a call at 914-773-7777. There's a reason we're preferred.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Nairo Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. and offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with NYRA Bets.
And they're off, competing for over $4 million in purses this season. Join us to witness the best the sport of harness racing has to offer and celebrate Harris Hoosier Park's championship season alongside family fun entertainment, handicapping contests, giveaways, and more. Be sure to catch all of the action now through December 10th, and don't forget to download your free live racing program on the Harris Hoosier Park website every night. First post is 6:15 p.m. Visit harrishoosierpark.com for full details.
Launch your thoroughbred ownership experience with Flying Partners Racing, a New York and Florida-based racing partnership with winning percentages over 20% at Belmont,
Lone Rock to win,
and 25% at Saratoga in 2021.
Ice Princess.
Limited opportunities available now, with yearling partnerships coming this fall.
It is Tell Your Daddy.
Meet the Flying Partners team at our open house. Visit flyingpartnersracing.com to learn more.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program was created in 2018 by Wanda Policini. Purple Haze provides training to transition into new careers and finding homes. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before going on. Horses at Purple Haze are evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, please contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.
Our Breeders' Crown coverage tonight is brought to you by Central Ontario Standardbred Association. As we continue on with the Breeders' Crown action, getting ready for the Breeders' Crown Final Open Trot. But before we do that, we are a week away from the Breeders' Cup. Anthony is back in the suit and tie. It's okay. Maybe before the end of the night, we'll see the silks return.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll allow it.
I feel like I need to put Lee Einsiedler's silks on at some point in honor of Casa Creed next week in the turf sprint.
Yeah. Well, I know you have some other horses that you're very excited to see, including some of the big names in the distaff. Todd Fletcher with two perhaps of the strongest chances in the Breeders' Cup distaff between Nest and Malathot, the 3-year-old filly and the 4-year-old Malathot. We're going to get a chance to see her back at the Breeders' Cup this year. She's coming off another win. And it's interesting in the spinster, Anthony. She won by open lengths, which is not something that Malathot typically does. She typically gives you the bare minimum.
Yeah. Plays down to her competition if she was a sports team, right? But this was a nice win, you know, and she's kind of grown up a little bit this year.
Added the blinkers.
Yeah, you know, she's become a little bit more of a complete filly. She's always had a ton of talent. It's been, I would imagine, frustrating at times for the barn to harness that ability. I mean, you say frustrating, she's 9 for 13 with 3 seconds in the third. She's never been off the board, but, you know, that CCA Oaks defeat last year was probably a tough one to take, and there are times where she shows this brilliance, and there are times where she's just been a little lackadaisical, and it's kind of cost her some big wins. But now you feel like she's been ready to roll, and you feel like she is a complete filly. And these others, I like that list. I'm a big Nest fan. We'll talk a little bit more about Nest in a little bit. I like Latruska being off that list because I think she's very, very interesting.
Sprint.
An interesting alternative in the sprint. We'll talk about that. I mean, we'll cover everything throughout the week here on America's Day at the Races. But, yeah, it's an interesting distaff. I love how Malathot's coming in. I love how Nest has blossomed. And we've gotten to see her do it right here in New York throughout the year.
Last time we did see Nest take on Older for the first time in the Beldame, and no, it wasn't Malathaat and Clairiere in search results. But she beat some nice fillies and mares this day. Some horses that definitely had more foundation and some strong credentials. And not only did she beat them, she pulled another impressive runaway performance from the filly that we saw running second in the Kentucky Oaks earlier this year to now. It's like a different horse. She's always had talent, but she's turned into a monster.
We use these cliches every year. The light bulb went off. She's a different filly. He got it all together. Something happened between the first Friday in May in Kentucky and the Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Betts in June, where something clicked in her head, and she has turned into an absolute beast. And she's a horse that they've had high hopes for from day one. Todd Fletcher said it at the Belmont Stakes draw when they nominated her to the Triple Crown. The race they had in mind was the Belmont Stakes. She's never raced at a distance shorter than a mile. Distances always seem to be her friend. There she is again in the Beldame Industry. That was her first start against older horses. You're right. It was the C team at best, but she just demolished them. And I mean, she's not built like a 3-year-old filly. She's built like an older filly at 3. The connections have talked about. I know Mike Rapoli, not in her silks there, but did win in her silks most of the time this year. They're racing her at 4. I can't wait to see her fill out from November to January or February, that last growth spurt for most horses, especially fillies, and to see what she looks like when she comes back in the spring next year. I mean, I think she's going to beat Malathaat next Saturday.
I'm really excited to see Ness. She's been so much fun, and I know it's been an incredible joy for Mike Rapoli and Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, her owners. As you mentioned, second behind her stablemate, Mo Donegal, back in the Belmont Stakes. And just since then, I think in particular the CCA Oaks performance that we saw up at Saratoga, just how dazzling she's been. Looking forward to that Breeders' Cup coming up in a week's time. Back to the Breeders' Crown in the 3-year-old colt pace. Pebble Beach was much the best. 490 with the win. Todd McCarthy, the driver, standing by with Jessica.
Pebble Beach takes the Glamour Boy division. Breeders' Crown final for those 3-year-old colt and gelding pacers. Standing by with winning driver Todd McCarthy. You get your first Breeders' Crown win. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, it's pretty special, Jess. You know, I knew coming into this weekend I had a couple there that were pretty good shots, and to get the job done with that horse, it was pretty nice. You know, we've had such a great time, and he loves it up here in Canada. So full credit to Noel. He had him spot on here, and it was a fairy tale ending.
Undefeated on Canadian soil. Talk about his trip tonight. You know, he's just been such a strong colt with the addition of Lasix last week and, going down to Lexington, Kentucky. Just talk about the season overall he's had, because you've been his driver majority of the time.
Yeah, he raced really well in Kentucky. We just clashed with a couple others that were doing good at the time too, and they managed to nail us there a few times. But I was never really disappointed with him there, and definitely coming back up here and the additional Lasix it's definitely triggered him a little bit. And like I say, it's something in this Canadian air. He's a happy horse when he's here.
Nice job. Go enjoy that one.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess.
Back to you guys.
First Breeders' Crown win for driver Todd McCarthy, and did it in style with Pebble Beach. Moving on, we get ready for the Breeders' Crown final, the Open Trot. Currently looking at the field, you have Juju B 5-2. Excited to see what this one has to offer, coming in off a win at Lexington last time out. We'll continue on with our Breeders' Cup conversation, though. Steve Asmussen has a lot to smile about, as he's got some big possibilities for the Breeders' Cup, including last year's sprint champion Jackie's Warrior, pointing to that long-term goal of the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Our next order of business is the 7th at Charlestown. It's a little stakes action for the West Virginia bred 2-year-old fillies, the Eleanor Casey Memorial. A field of 9 to go postward. Taking a look at the field here, the number 3, Mars Express, having won her last 2. Filly by West Coast is currently your favorite at 2-1.
She's really turned things around since her first 2 starts, hey? In for the tag on the turf back at September at Colonial. Comes back 12 days later and wins. Comes back, 20 days later and wins the little stakes like this. State bred stakes for the Mountaineer breds. Yeah, I mean, she was big prices those 2 nights, and now they're asking you to take 5-2. Boy, you went to the wedding and I don't know what the other thing, the anniversary party. Do you want to go to the divorce? I don't know at 5-2, Acacia. Not me. I want the 5, Lightning Runner, who I would imagine will be favored by the time they spring the last.
Yeah, I'm surprised. She's 2 for 2. She's also, her last race was just faster than what Mars Express has done. Now, one thing about Mars Express is, I guess you could say that she's already won twice, going the 6.5, whereas Lightning Runner has only ever run 4.5, as she does stretch out to the 7/8 today, which is 2 turns. Any concerns about that?
Nah, not really. I think she'll be okay. I think that actually, the turns could actually help her speed, because she'll be in front in here. She will absolutely be in front in here. So
she is a filly by Battalion Runner.
Yeah.
Who I'm guessing is now standing in West Virginia?
That's a great guess.
Wow.
That's the 411th stallion that Todd Pletcher won straight.
Yes.
411, I believe that's the figure. No, I think that's it. I think it's 411.
It's got to be. It has to be. Oh,
yeah, she looks like she'll be tough. I mean, her speed gets her around the others in here. And I think the 2 turns will help her cause.
Oh, by the way, no, Battalion Runner is standing in Florida, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. And his progeny are 4 for 8.
Excuse me.
Kind of incredible. Well,
wow.
2 wins came with this filly.
Yeah, still.
A really limited number, 4 for 8 on the racetrack. That's pretty impressive.
Twitter will explode if the 1, Keep On Spurrin', or the 7, Juba's Parade, win, because they are both by
Juba,
the most popular,
the iconic Juba.
I mean, has there ever been a more popular
well,
Trigger? Trigger.
He was the one that really, started. He's Twitter famous. He is standing in West Virginia.
He is Twitter famous, yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite horses of all time stood in West Virginia. A Bill Mott horse named Rob, who
Rob
broke his maiden the day before the Breeders' Cup in 1995. In the first race, he paid $15. I made an awful lot of money, and Bill Mott thought that would be his Derby horse.
Todd Pletcher has a couple stallions in this race, by the way, made from Lucky, the stallion of the 2, the sire of the 2.
Yeah.
Also a Todd Pletcher trainee.
Sure. So he's
Blofeld? Did he change Blofeld as well?
Blofeld as well, yeah. Eugene Melnick, I believe.
He's got his hands all over this race.
He has a third.
Yeah,
he has
train
horses.
Blofeld as well.
A third of the field on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock at night
at Charlestown. Well done, Todd. You've made it.
Might be 412 at this point.
I think so. It's time for the Eleanor Casey Memorial 2-year-old fillies. Let's see if a Todd Pletcher stallion can win it. Race 7 coming up next. Here's Paul Espinosa Jr. with the call.
Goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Eleanor Casey Memorial. And Mars Express goes directly to the lead. Keep On Spurring to her inside. Also flashing early speed in these 2. Have opened up 2.5 on Ceylon Breeze in 3rd. Strong Willed is 4th in Lucky Blonde, Juba's Parade. Then comes Lightning Runner, who's well off the pace tonight. The 2 trailers are Impressionism and Marmo Moon. As they hit the clubhouse turn, Keep On Spurrin's in front. Keep On Spurrin' by a length here. Mars Express will have to sit 2nd tonight. Ceylon Breeze and Lucky Blonde, 3rd and 4th. They're joined up outside by Strong Willed. And then comes Juba's Parade. Lightning Runner is right there in between horses as they straighten onto the backstretch. Tightly bunched up top, about 4 lengths would cover the first 7. The back markers are Impressionism and Marmo Moon opening quarter in 23-2. So it's been a contentious pace, and Keep On Spurring at 18-1 is 3 furlongs from home. In front by a neck from the Triple Crown Nutrition Breeders' Classic winner, Mars Express, who's poised to her outside. Lightning Runner has made steady progress from the back of the pack. She's rallied up into third with 2.5 lengths to make up as they hit the far turn. Mars Express up on even terms with Keep On Spurring. Lightning Runner under an all-out drive now from third. Then Strong Will, Juba's Parade, Lucky Blonde switched outside. They come to the top of the stretch. Keep On Spurring and Mars Express turn for home together. Outside Strong-Willed Lightning Runner, then Juba's Parade and Lucky Blonde rallying on down the center. Mars Express has found the front once again. Mars Express trying to edge clear. Late rally from her stablemate Strong-Willed. Mars Express just holds and keeps on winning. She takes the Eleanor Casey Memorial by a hard-fought neck. Strong-Willed was getting to her late, and then came a stubborn Keep On Spurring. The final time, 1:30-3.
Mars Express, she was on top of the pace set by Keep On Spurring, and she was able to kick away to make it 3 in a row and take the Eleanor Casey Memorial. Back over at Woodbine Mohawk Park, we get ready for the Breeders' Crown Final Open Trot. Horses on the track, and this is another one that's a bit of a wide open race, I thought, Anthony. A few different ways to go in here.
Another one that did not have an elimination last week. Yes, this is a wide open race. I finally was able to throw my chalk-eating weasel towel away. Well, I guess King of the North was a decent enough price.
Yeah, 5-1.
But he was one of the morning line favorites, so yeah. I like a horse in here that's a big price. Fashion Frenzy's 8-1. 2-race win streak, local, 9-hole, 8-hole. Now draws a 2-hole. You see that she missed some time. She missed a week and a half. She was good. She missed 2 weeks. She was good. So ordinarily, I don't like betting the horses, Acacia, that miss time, but she's done it successfully, not once, but twice, just on her card here. So I think that's important to note. She's a big enough price in a wide open board that I will try her.
Well, let's get a little trackside analysis from Jessica. This trackside report is brought to you by Rude and Riddle. Jessica, what are your takes on the open trot?
This field of trotters is full. It's a full field of 11. Of course, there was no eliminations coming into the race tonight. And if you would take a look at in here, and one to take a note worth is Aki Svanstedt has four horses in this race. He's not driving any of them. Dexter Dunn will drive Ecurie D. Of course, he was the Breeders' Crown champ last year. This is his second season here in the U.S., and he's really, earned his open ranks here in this open trot division. And we'll start with him. He was in that international trot at Yonkers last time out from post 5. He left on and out of the gate, and Aki went pedal to the metal. Didn't fare too well. He came up a little tired at the end of the mile. He had a little bit of time off coming into this race tonight, but he gets Dexter Dunn in the bike. Juju B, he's had a little bit of an up and down season. He had a late start to his season. After qualifying earlier on in the year, he's got 4 starts. His first win of the season came last time out in the Alarage Open Trot down at Lexington, Kentucky. It was a nice win for him there. He draws post 6. That's the winningest post position here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. And the 8 back of the neck returns to the scene where he won the Maple Leaf Trot. Aki Svanstedt trains this one post 8 tonight, but you can see, you hear the drivers talk about having inside post opposed to the outside post. Tim Tetrick has been confident in this colt coming into this race with an outside post in pre-race interviews and pre-race articles that I've been reading, and with talking with him. You go back to that Yonkers trot last time out, parked the entire mile, never saw the rail. It's a mile and a quarter race. He never saw the rail. He cleared to the front and finished second behind a very nice horse in his own right. Talked to Tim Tetrick. He says the horse likes to have a target rather than, being on the lead. He thought maybe if he would have let a horse get out in front of him and pick up second over cover in the international trot, he would have been able to target him down a little better. I see him out on the track right now scoring down. Tetrick is being aggressive with him, so I think we'll see him forwardly placed and get in position there early on and to get so he can track down those horses. He's a very versatile horse. Whether he likes to track them down or not, he's got plenty of gate speed going into the race. There's a lot of nice horses in here, but I think I'm going to go with the 8 Back of the Neck. Lots of Aki Svanstedt trainees in here. Lindy the Great starts from the rail. He's had a weird season, 3 starts on the year. He got his first win of the season last time out in an open trot at Hoosier Park. Another one parked the mile. And he finished up the mile with plenty of trot, 27-4 at the end of it, 53-4. The Connections were confident enough in that win. He was eligible to the Breeders' Crown. They said, hey, let's try him up at Mohawk in the open trot. Who do you guys like in the open trot Breeders' Crown final?
Jessica, thank you. A tough one coming up here. And she brought up an interesting point, Anthony, too, that Aki Svanstedt does have 4 in here and not driving any of his own. It's something we talked a little bit about yesterday, and I think it's super cool, too, that he trains and drives a lot of his runners, not participating as far as being in the driver's seat with any of the 4. I would imagine he's got his hands full on the training and bringing these in, too.
Chad Schronstedt? Wow.
Yeah, right?
4 of 11. It's pretty impressive, right?
It is.
4 shots at 800
He's the
times.
Aiden O'Brien of harness racing.
Love to have 4 shots at 800,000 right about now, wouldn't you? Great.
Anybody would.
My God, it's great. Would love it.
At Curizy, one of his runners, this one, what did you make about this horse's chances? Who looks to turn things around after using a lot of early speed last time?
Yeah, I don't know what happened last time. I'll tell you what, nobody seems to care. She's 2-1. He, rather. I keep getting stuck on she in this race for some reason. He's 2-1.
It was 1.5 miles last time, to be fair.
At Yonkers, the Hilltop.
Yeah.
That's a half-mile oval. Jessica mentioned that earlier. The half-mile and the 7/8 and the mile tracks, they're so different. And maybe he just caught a flyer and ran off at it. I don't know, though. You know, he's had Aki Svanstedt's had a hard time keeping this horse moving along. He runs, he needs to qualify. He races, he needs to qualify. He races, he needs to qualify. It's almost like he's a work in progress. He hasn't raced that often this year. He didn't race a lot last year. In a wide open race, he's the last. He can obviously has a big chance to win it, but he's the last horse I'd be betting on as the favorite. He can win. It's not like I'm completely against him. But and this race starts the late pick 5, which you could play over at Naira Bets.
Nice.
But I wouldn't be betting him in the win pool. I'd be betting the 2 Fashion Frenzy.
One that's not trained by Aki Svanstedt is the number 6, Juju B, who did have a win last time out. This horse who's coming in good form, comes off the stakes win. I guess maybe kind of setting up at the right time.
Yeah. He's one of a half a dozen horses that could probably win this race. I mean, this is, again, we said it about the last race, but this is another one that's really wide open. There was some real chalk fests earlier in the card. It got a little interesting mid-card.
Lining up for the Breeders' Crown Final open trot. Let's go to Ken Middleton for the call.
Forbidden Trade from the 2nd tier, and that gate swings into the stretch. Here they come. They're often trotting in the excitable Acuri D is quick out down the center there for Dunn as he wants to rattle. Coming out with him at the inside is Logan Park. Outside trots up Juju B into 3rd now and speed outside from back of the neck into 4th. 5th away at the fence left out Lindy the Great. 6th outside of him is Fashion Frenzy and a wall of trotters early. Then it's back to Forbidden Trade as he snuck through to grab a good spot there. 7th going into that turn and he's committed off the rail already. Further back at the inside to Amigo Volo. Then it's Academic. Further back we go at the inside to find Rattle My Cage, and Ambassador Hanover sees them all back in 11th. The opening quarter was 27-1, and as they move into the backstretch, they do so chasing 6-5 favorite Acuri D. On top a length and a half on Jujubee, who trots a pocket. 3rd inside to Logan Park. Back of the neck is 4th. 5th inside to Lindy the Great. Overland 6 now is Fashion Frenzy raided along on his cover Forbidden Trade. Scooting up the rail, Amigo Volo. Then to the outside, it's Academic. Scooting through at the inside, Rattle My Cage. And trailing is still Ambassador Ambassador Hanover. Halftime is 55-2, and they wheel into that final turn. On top, a length and a half, this is Acuri D. Jujubee trots along second, first over, back in the neck is third. Logan Park is fourth. Fashion Frenzy out the route fifth. Sixth in the trail is Lindy the Great. Then Forbidden Trade. Amigo Volo, a starting Academic, then inside Rattle My Cage, and Ambassador Hanover trailing. A 2-length lead for Acuri D. As Dunn goes for it all right now, and Acuri D spins out to a 3-length lead. 3/4 of a mile trotted in 1:23, and coming into the stretch, it's all Acuri D. Widening out the lead to 4 on Jujubee, who's back in second. Logan Park in back of the neck, escaping late. Amigo Volo splitting through his Rattle My Cage in deep stretch. Still Acuri D clear by 3, and it's done with another. This time Acuri D to win. Jujubee was off stride second. That'll get the inquiry up. The mile 1:51, equaling the stakes record.
Acuri D delivered as a favorite. Maybe just didn't like things at Yonkers last time out. And Aki Svanstedt does get the win.
You know, we mentioned, I kind of talked myself off of this horse because we talked about how it's been hard to keep this horse moving along, right? Qualify race, qualify race, qualify race. After that little mishap last week, no qualifier. And 2 weeks ago, it looks like he just worked his magic and got this horse right. Because I'm going to say it again, he jiggy-jogged. Now, the number 6, Jujubee, is going to cross the line second. But he was breaking stride when he did so. And Amigo Volo, I believe that's Amigo Volo, who's going to check in third, was lapped on to Jujubee. That means he was within a length of Jujubee. I don't know where the 4th horse was in regards to Jujubee. You're going to see it here on the pan. Thanks for the replay, guys. You're going to see Jujubee go off stride now. So they're going to hit the line 5, 6, 3, 7. But the 3 and the 7, Amigo Volo and its Academic, were within a length of Jujubee. I believe that necessitates a disqualification to at least 4th. Perhaps even further down the ranks here, depending on who was lapped on. And again, lapped on is considered a length. So 5, 3, 6, 3. Now, a 4, Logan Park's head was right on Andrew McCarthy's helmet. That'll be curious. And again, you know, this matters because of the superfecta wagering, obviously. We'll see how the stewards handle this.
Well, you heard that call from Ken Middleton as well. Stewards will take a look at the situation with Jujubee going off stride, but no doubt about the winner. Acuri D picks up the victory in the open trot. Dexter Dunn, the driver, gets another one on the night as well. Bring you prices, reactions, and guess who? Bulldog Hanover. We're going to get a chance to see him soon. He's coming up in the 9th race after this. We'll talk more about his amazing year as he looks to pick up yet another victory. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at cosaonline.com.
Stay fabulous. Resorts World.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Blood Horse Plus, available through bloodhorse.com, provides exclusive, timely, and unmatched content to subscribers, including Fox Sports, Blood Horse branded weekly programs, a detailed stakes winners section, behind-the-scenes videos from Blood Horse staff, on-demand access to deeper horse statistics, and a $5 monthly credit to equineline.com. Upgrade to Blood Horse Plus today.
We take pride in what we do.
For me, it's more of a passion than actual work. I'm an assistant trainer.
Carpenter.
I'm a peace officer.
I'm a jockey.
I'm a gardener.
I'm a groom.
Clocker.
Assistant starter.
Trainer. ESL teacher.
I love what I do.
There's so many jobs that come together every day. It's a collective effort that really makes this ball go round.
We are New York Racing! I couldn't imagine working anywhere else.
For me, riding horses in the morning is the best thing I can do.
New York Racing helps support my small business.
It's extremely important to the New York economy.
Like my dream come true.
This is like a big family.
We are New York Horse Racing.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Run Happy, the champion sprinter who raced medication-free and stands now in legendary stall 1 at Claiborne Farm. Now, in the Breeders' Crown Final Open Trot, no doubt about the winner, Écurie D, but Anthony, as we mentioned before, it's in the yellow saddle towel, the number 6, Jujubee, who goes off stride. The stewards still taking a look to decide where to place him as a result.
They hit the line 5-6, 3-7-4. To me, Logan Park was lapped on, as was Amigo Volo to 3 and the 7. It's academic. But it's really, really close with Logan Park, with the number 4. So for me, this has to be 5-3-7. Whether they put the 6th, 4th, or 5th is debatable. But as far as these eyes can see, this becomes 5-3-7 very, very easily. It's taking so long because they're figuring out if they have to take Jujubee and place him 4th or place him 5th.
Sure. So stewards taking a look to decide on the new order of finish in the open trot with Jujubee going off stride. And pretty easy to see there. And we've talked about this before, but maybe if you're rather new to harness racing, you can see the difference in the strides between a trot and a pace. And the strides are so important to keep the consistency. When you see a horse go off stride, it's very noticeable in comparison to the others in the field.
Yes, for sure. And they've decided to put him 4th. So they figured that Logan Park was not lapped on. Again, it was debatable. He was on his helmet, not on the horse. But, yeah, favorite gets the job done.
Écurie D, the winner, though. Another Breeders' Crown win tonight for Dexter Dunn, who's standing by with Jessica.
Standing by with winning driver Dexter Dunn. Écurie D takes the Open Trot Breeders' Crown Final. This is the first time you've sat behind this guy. What did you know coming into tonight's race?
Oh, I obviously watched him since he got here. Jess raced against him a bunch, and he's obviously an impressive trotter. He's had a really good year, and late last year when he came over. So, obviously, I think they put a blind bright on the Yonkers last start, and he was gone. So, you know, he's opened back up. I was a little worried coming out of the gate. First quarter, he was wanting to go pretty fast, but you know, he relaxed after that brilliantly, and then yeah, showed a good turn of foot at the end.
For people who don't get to see this horse in person, he's just a beautiful, strong animal. Does he feel as strong on the racetrack as he does what he looks like?
Yeah, he's a gorgeous-looking horse. He lets everybody know he's here too when he's coming on the track with a roar and a bit of a squeal. So, yeah, behind him, like He's a little bit smart ass, really, Jess. He sort of goofs around, looks around. He's always got his ears pricked, and he sort of, always got you on your toes. But, his speed's the main thing, and that's what he showed tonight.
He's definitely full of energy. Another horse who's full of energy coming up in the next race. Breeders' Crown final for those open pacers. Bulldog Hanover. Can you just give us a quick comment on him going into tonight?
He qualified great here last week. Jack and Johnny looks after him, so he's had a great week. So, hopefully he puts a big mile in tonight. Looking forward to getting behind him.
Congratulations. Best of luck in the next one.
Thanks, Jess.
Back to you guys.
I just can't wait to see Bulldog Hanover, of course, reunited with his regular driver, Dexter Dunn, coming up next. But he picks up the win here with Ikiri D. I liked how he described him, too, full of energy tonight. And Bulldog Hanover, he has been at the top of his game. He has provided a lot of exciting moments on the racetrack, and he's captured the hearts of the fans, too. You can't help but draw a comparison with a thoroughbred who's done exactly that, the undefeated Flightline, who's been dazzling on the racetrack, but more than anything, has captured the attention of those who truly love racing.
Flightline and Bulldog Hanover have captured the hearts and minds of people all over the globe and may just be two of the greatest individuals thoroughbred and standardbred racing have ever witnessed.
The following, the social media presence, the tweets going out like, hey, Flightline's going to work on Saturday and he's going to go at this time, and it just spreading like wildfire. And you really start to see it first on the West Coast, but even now nationwide, the greatest naysayers are in awe of Flightline.
It's been really amazing to watch this. The last few weeks especially, going to Indiana, the fans were coming out. Had a huge crowd there for that race. Going to Ohio, it was tremendous. I mean, the fans, it was just a steady stream of fans coming to see him in the paddock. Here in Lexington, it's been unbelievable. He's really the people's horse right now.
Flightline generated buzz when he was purchased for $1 million as a yearling. The son of Tapit demonstrated he was worth every penny when he debuted for trainer John Sadler.
A potential star here, Flightline, wins by double digits while wrapped up.
Flightline continued to soar in his next 4 starts. His final time in the Grade 1 Malibu Stakes was assigned the best speed figure in North America for 2021.
Flightline, a superstar, is dominating the run-happy Malibu, and he's going to turn this into his easiest win yet.
It was time for Flightline to log some miles. This resulted in another facile score in the Met Mile over Speaker's Corner and Breeders' Cup Sprint champion Aloha West.
On Belmont Stakes Day, we're New Yorkers to have it at our home track. He didn't break well. He had some traffic problems early in the race. It was a race that really showed he could overcome adversity. Everything was going against him, and he still beat Grade 1 horses by open lengths.
But his most recent engagement in the Pacific Classic was one of the most scintillating performances in decades.
And let's see, Flavien Prat just shakes the reins at Flightline. And take a good look at this, because you're not going to see this too often, maybe never again. Flightline, 20 lengths clear.
Flightline stopped the clock just shy of a track record. His speed figure is the second highest recorded of any thoroughbred on dirt since 1992. Then there is Bulldog Hanover. Like Flightline, his 2022 campaign has been nothing short of brilliant. He is the swiftest standardbred to ever set a hoof on a racetrack and the only horse to ever stop the clock below 1 minute and 46 seconds.
Bulldog Hanover, Rocky Road Hanover, and then Tattoo Artist. It's Bulldog Hanover, 1:45 and 4. There it is, the fastest mile in harness racing history. It doesn't get any better than that. Wow!
When I crossed the line and the tele timer popped up 45 and 4, I almost did a double take. I was sort of double cheeked it. I was like, what happened?
It took a world record equaling mile by Allywag Hanover to snap Bulldog Hanover's win streak. But his reputation was not tarnished in defeat.
It's an emotional thing for me. I've just been in it so long, had some great horses, but to get a horse like this at this stage in my career, it's great.
All eyes will be on Bulldog Hanover's bid for a Breeders' Crown. He has, however, already proved he is the horse of a lifetime, as has Flightline.
Flightline, Bulldog Hanover, 2 incredible horses at the top of their game in their respective sports right now. As far as the fastest pace pacer ever. We're not just throwing that around. He literally is Anthony Bulldog Hanover. Absolutely spectacular in the William Houghton Memorial, which you predicted a record-breaking mile
This
that day.
is the fastest mile in the history of harness racing.
Incredible.
Ever. The two stats that are most impressive on his bio page are the 6 wins at different tracks in 2022. But the one at the bottom with the 6 wins in under 147. I mean, there's no other, ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's just something you don't see. You've never seen things like this. And he does it he does it on his own. He does it cutting these miles. He's done it cutting miles. He's done it from off the pace. But for the most part, he does it cutting the mile. And that is really, really impressive. It's not like he has horses doing the dirty work up front and then he comes and picks up the pieces. I mean, he comes home in some of these races in under 26 seconds. That's unheard of. Really unheard of. And like I said, he is my favorite horse in training. And I cannot wait to watch him win the final tonight.
Even Barbara Livingston tweeted asking where she could watch Bulldog Hanover
Right
running
here.
today. I know, Barbara. We hope you're watching with us. But it's really cool to me. And you brought this up earlier, how even people who don't necessarily follow harness racing on a regular basis want to tune in to see him because he's obviously that special and has done that much on the racetrack already.
A couple of my friends have said that, do you cover this Bulldog Hanover horse? I was like, ordinarily I wouldn't, but I am blessed that, yes, I get to cover him. I've covered him a couple of times. I'm going to cover him next week. This was late last week. I said I'm going to cover him next Saturday night. Yeah, he's so cool. I can't. I'm already starting to get the butterflies, if you will. Get the butterflies.
I think there's a pigeon in here still.
Okay.
I think it
That's
just
all right.
flew down that direction.
It's
Sorry.
Halloween occasion. Maybe
It
it's not
is.
a it's not a
Halloween
pigeon
is
occasion.
spooky.
Maybe it's not a maybe it's not a maybe
Please
it's not.
do not put that in my
Why?
head.
I'll protect you occasionally. Don't worry about it.
Growing up, he thinks it's a bat. Growing up,
I'm not protecting you from a bat, by the way.
actually, I am better suited to that because growing up in Hartford, we had an old house, and some nights in the summer we'd have 2 in one night. And my dad had
I
this
don't do
bat
bats.
catcher. He had like a broom handle with a bag attached, and he would catch them, and then he'd drive out to the park, and he'd release them, and they'd go off on their merry way. And it wasn't something in the house. It's they would get confused, and they'd come to the wrong house. And so I'm very used to having bats around.
I did tell somebody I was Batman on Friday.
Did you?
I did. It's accurate.
Okay.
And I'd rather deal with baseball bats than actual live bats. Live bats, I'm not no bueno on live bats. Pigeons are fine.
They're very good. They're very good for the world, for the environment.
The
Bats.
ghost that's behind you right now is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else is up for debate.
It's a little spooky around here at this hour at Aqueduct, I won't lie. Into the gate for the 8th race, the nightcap at Charlestown. We are going 7 furlongs for fillies and mares. All loaded in. Here's Paulo Espinosa Jr.
Final leg is here. They're in the gate. Excuses, acting up badly and now has busted open the front stall doors there. Get those closed up. Job by the assistant starter, keeping her from getting down the track. Arnaldo Bocachica aboard Excuses. Currently 9-1 in the wagering. Looks like we're ready for a start. Excuses continues to be a little bit edgy. And they're off in the nightcap at Charlestown, and the favorite Sakari bobbled at the start and is last. So, interesting development at the start here, and now Nobody's Secret heads out to inherit the lead. Excuses, and Tough One. Those 3 line up on the front, and the pace is swift. The laddie is now advancing outside into 4th. And then comes Awesome Incentive with Sakari, who's now down to that one's inside. Miss Corey is next, and the trailer is I Be Nasty. So they race around that clubhouse turn, and Tough One takes it to Excuses. Deladdy advances into a clear third, now just a length and a half off the lead through a 24-second flat first quarter with a half of a mile left to run. Then comes Nobody's Secret in 4th. They're followed by Awesome Incentive in 5th. Sakari is back in 6th. I Be Nasty 7th to her outside. And Miss Corey is last and only 8 lengths away from Tough One, who takes this field past the 3-ace pole. Opening half in 49 and 2. Tough One and Delatty now 1-2. And Awesome Incentive begins to move in from 3rd. Sakari putting in a brave run out in the 4 path within 2.5 lengths of the lead. A quarter of a mile from home. 4 of them within a length of one another. Delatty a narrow lead. Awesome Incentive and Sakari putting in a bold run on the far turn. Sakari up on even terms with Awesome Incentive with 1 furlong to go. Sakari has gone all the way up to take the lead. A last to first move, but Awesome Incentive is going to fight her in the final furlong. 16th to go. Awesome Incentive back for more along the inside of Sakari. Awesome Incentive at 13-1 to take the nightcap by a half length. A Tough Luck Sakari settles for second. Then came Delatty and Miss Corey. Final time, 1:30 and 2.
An upset in the nightcap. Awesome Incentive would not be denied over a much shorter price. Sakari off that maiden win. Awesome Incentive at 13-1.
Sakari did not have the best trip tonight. Falls a half length short of an upset winner. An Awesome Incentive a week before the Breeders' Cup Classic. A daughter of Awesome again gets the job done in the middle of the night at Charlestown.
Horses stepping onto the track in the Breeders' Cup Final. Open pace. Bulldog Hanover, a true star, coming up next. Stay tuned for a lot more on America's Day at the Races. We're going to see the big guy after this.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. Breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania.
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, and the excitement is here. Anthony is fluffing the collar because it's Bulldog Hanover time.
Yeah, it is. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm
you
excited.
Sure? I should go grab my steak.
But apparently, we're being told not yet, because we're a week away from the Breeders' Cup Classic.
We are, well, a little less now. Occasion it'll be all over this time next week.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will be. You have Flightline. You have Life is Good. And then you have the 3-year-olds, which is really interesting. Namely, Epicenter, winner of the Run Happy Travers, training up to the Breeders' Cup Classic. He was the dominant 3-year-old over the summer. The question, of course, will be, how does he stack up against the super talented older horses he'll be facing?
Is he your second choice next Saturday? Is Taba your second choice? Because I'm going to tell you why.
Nobody's talking about Life is Good.
there's no chance Life is Good as the second choice next week based on the court of public opinion. It just can't happen. And it kind of makes sense. If you're going to beat Flightline, I don't think you're going to try to do it with a horse who has a similar, if not the same exact running style. That's not, in theory, how you want to do things. Mm-hmm. If you're going to take a shot against him, you want to use one of those 2 3-year-olds, Taba or Epicenter, who we just saw winning the run, Happy Travers, or maybe a horse like Hot Rod Charlie, who's shown some versatility in being able to win on the lead and off the pace. That's just my opinion. I think if anybody upsets Flightline, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's Epicenter.
Interesting. All right. Well, it'll be really, really an exciting rendition of the Breeders' Cup Classic 1 week from today. But an exciting rendition of the Breeders' Crown Final Open Pace 2-5 on Bulldog Hanover. As we go to Jessica. Jessica, I know Bulldog Hanover has been so exciting for everyone in harness racing to follow, and outside the sport, the attention he's brought as well.
It's really amazing the attention he has brought to the harness racing world. I've talked to Jack Darling week after week, and, you know, this horse has traveled from Indiana to Ohio to New Jersey to his home base in Canada, and the fan base that this horse has is just truly amazing. They've deemed him the people's horse as of late, and I just walked inside for a minute to get a little warm before I came back outside in here, and there's so many people that were inside that are now out on the tarmac, and it's just unbelievable. I tell people this all the time. You can watch Bulldog Hanover on the TV as much as you want, but until you see what he actually does in person, you don't get to experience the full effect of the Bulldog Hanover. Of course, he starts from post 6. We listened earlier with Dexter Dunn, and he said that he had a really nice qualifier here last week in 51-2 under wraps, 26-4 at the end of it. Of course, they were going for the world record breaking mile in the Alaraj Open Farm, the Alaraj Open Pace back in Lexington, and they still equaled that mile still equaled the track record there, which had previously been a world record of 1:46. And he came out of the race good. They gave him a little time off. They qualified him. Of course, there was no elimination to get into this race. All 11 horses went straight into the final. And the horse that did upset him was Allywag Hanover. Of course, this horse was his divisional honors winner last year. He equaled the world record, the previous world record earlier this year. He's just a tremendous horse in his own right. Of course, they didn't meet up maybe as many times as they had liked. Allywag wasn't staked as much as the Bulldog Hanover was, but the horse is deservingly so. I mean, the horse was going into that race in Lexington, Kentucky sharp. He was just chasing down Bulldog Hanover, and maybe a few other starts he wasn't just as sharp, but he's rounding into form. He's coming into this race. He's getting post advantage on Bulldog Hanover tonight. You're getting 2-1 on him right now. And a hometown horse, and a horse that's been chasing the both of those horses, is the 7 Tattoo Artist out of the Dr. Ian Moore barn. James McDonald is in the bike, and he's been winning the open handicap paces here from post 10, post 5, post 9. He was second in the Canadian Pacing Derby behind the Bulldog Hanover. And I remember Dexter Dunn saying that after that race, he heard Tattoo coming, and he knew he was on his back, and he was really gunning him down. But Bulldog Hanover just loves his job. He loves to win. He's a very versatile horse. If you watch the Dayton Pacing Derby, he did it from post 8, never saw the rail. He drew off winning by open lengths, track record fashion there. It took Dexter an entire lap to pull up. It's like he never gets tired. And he's truly just a fun animal to watch. I know this is making the headlines as of right now. This will be his last start on Canadian soil. They do plan on retiring him at the end of the year, so hopefully he can get the win in the Breeders' Crown. He wasn't eligible to it at 2 and 3. Now that it's back on his home turf, he's eligible. The stands, this tarmac is starting to fill up. The anticipation for Bulldog to be here is just truly amazing, something that we haven't seen in quite some time. So I think Bulldog Hanover is going to be the one to be. I think Dexter is going to be confident with him in here. He gets a good post to work with. Who do you guys like in the open pace Breeders' Crown final?
Tough to go against Bulldog Hanover 2-5 right now, and rightfully so. But he's not invincible. Anthony, Allywag Hanover in his most recent start, this is 2 back for Bulldog Hanover. Allywag Hanover beat him this day, and we'll see. They'll have the opportunity to rematch this evening.
Allywag coming right into this off of this win at the Red Mile. Bulldog Hanover just the qualifier last time. And look, Allywag Hanover he got him this day. That was it. It's plain and simple. Everybody almost everybody loses at some point, right? And the Bulldog got beat on the square this day at the Red Mile. He gets his revenge tonight. I made that sound so deceitful. He gets his revenge. Like this is like an old episode of like Dallas or Dynasty. He gets his revenge tonight.
There is Allywag Hanover, trained by Brett Pelling. Todd McCarthy, the driver here, coming off of that win last time out, took down the mighty Bulldog Hanover that day. But then we saw Bulldog Hanover come back last week right here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. 29 length score.
Yeah, the qualifier practice race essentially.
Yep.
29
Just
length.
did it so easy.
I wish they should have called me up to get him around there last week. It might have been more fair. I would have probably won by 22 instead.
Yeah, right. Bulldog Hanover, he is just incredible. The fastest pacer lining up for the open pace. Can he get the Breeders' Crown? Here's Ken Middleton with the call.
The speed factor of 7, Tattoo Artist right now at 8-1. The gate swings off the turn into the stretch. Time for the heavyweights of harness racing. It's the open pace. And they're off, and a good beginning in the center for American Courage, who blasts out of there under the orders of Bongiorno. Outside of him is Tattoo Artist. Allywag Hanover up into the mix in third. From the inside, this is the plan. Fourth there. Fifth outside is Bulldog Hanover. Sixth up in the center, working on him is 3. Pole sitter, My Pal Joe, towards the inside is 7th. From the second tier emerges Poseidon Sealster. He's tracked in the backfield early by a Buckabet Hanover. Final 2 in the field, Luz Perlman and Warwe Vital to the back of the bus. Quarter and 26 flat. On that lead, Tattoo Artist. Here comes Allywag Hanover on the outside now, traveling up to grab that racetrack on the way to 3/8. Tattoo Artist goes into release mode. Allywag Hanover strikes the front, and here comes Bulldog Hanover now, brushing up powerfully to take on Allywag Hanover on the way to the midway point. Allywag Hanover at the inside. Bulldog Hanover on the outside, getting stretched out and bid for the lead in the backstretch. Halftime, 53-1. Into the far turn they go. And it's Bulldog Hanover on point now. The racetrack is his. Allywag Hanover shadows him again. Back into third is Tattoo Artist. American Courage underway from the backfield, working on a mystery. Moving up on cover, this is the plan. Scooting through is My Pal Joe, then Poseidon Sealster. Warwe Vital shoots the gap at the rail. Outside of Buckabet Hanover, trailing is Luz Perlman, 3/4 of a mile for Bulldog Hanover, and he's over there in 1:20.3. Right there, second is Allywag Hanover, starting to edge from a pocket, but he'll have to make up 2 on Bulldog Hanover, and Bulldog Hanover pacing out to a 3-length lead now. Back into second, fully extended, is Allywag Hanover. Tattoo Artist scrambles for racetrack late on the outside third. It is Bulldog Hanover. He is opening up in deep stretch now to a 5-length lead, and it's Bulldog Hanover, a crowning moment on Canadian soil for Bulldog Hanover, and he's home in 1:46.4, a stakes record performance, and he's tied the track and Canadian record. Bulldog Hanover in the crown, crushes.
Bulldog Hanover, he is terrific. He doesn't even want to pull up even still. He's still going, Anthony.
Best thing to come from Canada since Nickelback, Acacia. What a season.
Bulldog Hanover, trained by John Darling, standing by with Jessica.
Thank you.
Jack Darling standing by here, trainer of Bulldog Hanover. What a performance by him tonight. Just talk about the ride this horse has taken you on over the course of the year.
Oh, it's been so great, and I'm so happy about this win tonight. I mean, this crowd is here cheering for him, and the pressure is just unbelievable, and he's just an amazing horse. I just can't say enough about him.
The crowd was cheering for him as they turned for home. He's just been so awesome, and what he's done for the sport of harness racing over the course of the year has been truly amazing. Talk about his performance tonight. He didn't see the rail until just about the half.
It was a tough race. I knew it would be. He fought it out to the front, and he just kept going. I mean, he's just I'm just amazed by this horse.
Congratulations, and go enjoy this one.
Thank you. Appreciate
Back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. Jack Darling, Bulldog Hanover. He is just terrific, Anthony. And so fitting, poetic, special to see him at this Breeders' Crown open pace win. A horse that has just captured the attention of so many people, even outside the sport of harness racing. And really, really a privilege to watch him I've become a huge fan as well.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been really fun and a privilege. 146-4. There you go. Just another night at the office for the Bulldog, getting the job done. And he leaves the homeland a conquering hero. This will be his last start on Canadian soil, Acacia, and he left a winner.
The best thing to come out of Canada.
There's the jacket again. Here's the best thing. This is how you remind me, Acacia.
Of what I really am.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I still want that bedazzled jacket that the Outriders have.
Me too.
Yeah.
I need
but
one of
Bulldog Hanover, he is sensational. A tremendous animal, a great racehorse. It's been so fun following him, picking up another win in the Breeders' Crown. Open pace, absolutely terrific, and just so strong. The way he moves, too, he's so powerful.
You look at him come back, he can't even blow out a match right now. I mean, really good. Really, really good. He's so impressive. I mean, that was as easy a win as you're going to see in a race of this magnitude. We saw some, dazzling performances tonight, some daylight scores. You don't see these margins of victory in harness racing that often. And the races we saw earlier tonight had bigger margins of victory. King of the North, the horse in the prior race, Crude Decay. But this was just unbelievable. So much fun. The desk took a little beating. I went to the stick at about the 3/16 pole just to get a little separation.
Yeah.
I like to have separation.
Anthony roots home like nobody I've ever seen. You help him get to the wire.
I don't know. He didn't need me tonight.
He didn't need you. He didn't need anybody.
You know how we say I could have rode him? I literally could have drove him tonight.
He is awesome. And I think, as Jessica said, too, with trainer Jack Darling, just what he's done for the sport of harness racing, too, the attention that he's brought, the excitement he's created. I think it's so wonderful, too, to have an opportunity to see a star like this go out there and do it every time.
So that's now 7 miles in under 147 this year, right? That's even more significant by the final time because – he never asked him tonight. Dexter never moved his hands. You see he's almost horizontal on the bike. Got all of that 240 as well.
Bulldog Hanover the winner over tattoo artist Allywag Hanover, a distant third that day. Bulldog Hanover, absolutely terrific, a lot of fun, and really, really special to have the opportunity, the privilege for us. As we said, at the end of the day, we are fans and fans of Bulldog Hanover. Look at that winner's circle. So awesome. He is such a cool horse. He knows he's special. You can see that. He's posing for the picture.
I would imagine he's going to wrap his career up with the Meadowlands. I can guarantee you I will be there.
I love it.
I will be there. If he is racing at the Meadowlands to end his career, I will be there, and I will find a way into that winner's circle, too. I can guarantee you that. I will get my picture with the Bulldog. Maybe I'll just, I'll pull an Enrico Palazzo, and maybe I'll kidnap Dexter Dunn before the race and jump in. I don't know if I'll be able to fit into his silks, but we'll figure it out. I don't know. You never know. You hit him over. What did Leslie Nielsen do to the umpire? Hit him over the top of the head with something. It was the old naked,
watch out.
the old
He's
naked
coming
gun.
For you.
Coming for you, Dexter.
Bulldog Hanover. He is just absolutely terrific. What a night. We are 1 week out from the Breeders' Cup as well. The Breeders' Crown was terrific, and a lot to look forward to next week in thoroughbred racing as well.
Yes, Breeders' Cup. Looking forward to it. It was a privilege to cover the harness action all year here on America's Day of the Races, and that was the right way to go out, with the Bulldog getting the job done at the Breeders' Crown.
Absolutely sensational. Huge performances today. Thank you so much for joining us in the Open Mare Trot. It wasn't Atlanta. It was Bella Bellini who was sensational this evening. We saw some huge performances tonight in the Open Trot. Ecurie D dominant in that performance, and nobody is as special as that horse right there. Bulldog Hanover, the fastest pacer. He was tremendous. For Jessica Otten, Anthony Stabile, I'm Acacia Clement. Thanks for joining us for Breeders' Crown coverage on America's Day at the Races.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.